This is the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, where every week this brother-sister duo gets together to discuss the box office, latest film and TV scoops, along with our latest movie or show review, and what we're getting into next. We're your host,
Cheryl.
And Jay. Okay, so it's my turn this week to do movie trivia, and trivia is going to be based on the movie that we are reviewing this episode, which is American Fiction.
Finally.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. This one is a short one, but should be easy one.
Okay.
One of these characters was in Deadpool and will be in the upcoming Deadpool movie. Should be.
I'm sorry? Out of the American Fiction?
Yes, one of the American Fiction characters.
Characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not the actor, but the character.
Actor, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay,
One of the actors from American Fiction
Mm-hmm.
is in Deadpool. Which actor and what character do they play?
Okay. I'm gonna go with John Ortiz.
The publisher.
Yes, I think that's his name.
No.
Okay. I was trying to it's not Sterling K. Brown. It can't be. Jeffrey Wright? No, it's not Erica Alexander. Tracy Ellis Ross. Is it Lorraine? I'm probably passing over everybody it is, right?
No,
it's not Lorraine. Is it the mom?
Yes. Leslie Uggams' character.
Oh, she plays the blind lady, doesn't she?
Yes.
Yes.
She plays his belligerent blind neighbor.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about her. Oh, I loved her in that.
Yeah.
Oh, she got range. I forgot. I didn't even.
She does, because that was a comedy role.
Right.
So, yeah.
I didn't even make the connection. I knew she looked familiar. That's crazy. Okay. That's cool. I liked her in both of these movies, actually.
Yeah. Wiley, the creator, mentions the actor Ryan Reynolds is in his film Plantation. I'm sorry, not the creator. Wiley is, he was the director.
Yes. Right.
He mentions the actor Ryan Reynolds is in his film Plantation Annihilation.
He does.
Agnes's actress, Leslie Uggam, appears alongside Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool and its sequels.
I wonder if that's kind of just like a funny haha that he mentioned Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, that is our trivia for the week, and let's get into the episode. Welcome, fellow movie buffs. I'm Jay.
I'm Cheryl.
Listen in as we break down movie and TV shows, tell you what's in the plot, and hear if we think you should have watched it when you had the chance.
Dun, dun, dun. We got a full agenda, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
A full one. I even had to make a section that's just like quick tidbits because there's so much. All right. So just to give a quick rundown, we've got a movie that has a prequel that's going to be a TV series. We got dinos. We got Viola Davis as the president. Mm-hmm. We got a prequel to The Lion King. We have a little bit of news on Superman Legacy. Chris Evans is finally getting a movie that we hope is going to be good. And then we got a little quick, I don't even call it, I call it quick bits, which are just little rapid fire things that popped up as news throughout the week. So Let's start up at the top. John Boyega is starring in a Book of Eli prequel series. This was via Deadline. So Book of Eli was Denzel Washington movie. It is pretty old. Not like ancient old, but it's been a while.
Book of Eli came out in January 15th, 2010. So we're about 14
it is old.
years
Okay,
later.
I take that back. It is old. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to spoil it. So pause or skip or whatever to the next time code. He was blind. You find out
that was one of the very last things
you find out the very end that he was blind, but I don't know if in a movie if he was blind since birth. I haven't seen it in a very long time. Or if he was,
I don't remember if they elaborated on that point. That was just supposed to be like the surprise at the end of the film.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But it was a good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. Mila, how do you say her name?
Mila Kunis.
There it is. Was in it.
Ray Stevenson.
Yeah. Oh.
And Gary Oldman.
It was a good movie. It was like a good, it reminded me of something else.
Like Mad Max?
There it is.
Yeah.
It had the Mad Max filter over it. And it was kind of set in that kind of like deserted, post-apocalyptic
future.
time. But John Boyega is going to play a young Eli. The series is currently looking for a buyer. So it's not attached to any studio yet. It'll probably be on like a Amazon or Apple or Netflix. Hopefully not like a Paramount because I don't have that.
Hopefully it's on like an Amazon where they have the budget.
Or an Apple. Apple puts... This feels like an Apple.
Yeah, or an Apple. That's
this
true.
feels like
Apple
an Apple type TV
that.
show.
Mm-hmm.
It will be the same director and the writer from the movie. So behind the scenes, we got some of the same people. And the most we know about the script so far is that it's going to take place 30 years prior to the movie.
Yes. So
looking forward to it. Not looking forward to it.
I didn't. The movie was not bad, but
Okay.
I've never watched it again.
I don't think I have either.
Especially after like the whole. So there were two twists at the end. One, the whole movie was about him transporting this secret book across the world because it was like the last book in creation or something.
It was the Bible, right?
It was the Bible.
Oh, we found it. Okay.
So there were two stingers. One, it was the book that he was transporting was the Bible.
Right.
And the second stinger was that he was blind.
Right.
And that he actually could not read the Bible.
Because it was in Braille.
It was in Braille.
Right.
But he knew it from... He recited it from memory.
Oh, right.
And then after he recited it from memory, he died. And then they printed it so that I want to rewatch this. They could remass produce copies of the Bible to pass out to the people.
Right. I feel like I want to rewatch this. I know the series is probably not coming out for a while, but this made me want to rewatch to find out how that movie went.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember.
But John Boyega is a really good actor. We really enjoyed him, and they cloned Tyrone.
Absolutely.
So just because I didn't particularly care for the first movie doesn't mean that I won't like it, the prequel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's interesting he's doing a TV show.
I think his first big break was that Netflix movie about the aliens coming to the hood.
Okay. I know what you're talking about, but I cannot think of the title.
Attack the Block.
Yes. I've heard of that. Okay. We'll see when. First of all, we'll see when it comes out. Right now, I think it's just a thought and an idea.
Yeah, I think it's in talks, and they haven't even decided what studio it's going to yet. So
right. So we'll see. We'll definitely keep you guys updated. I think it's interesting that they're turning this into a prequel out of all the other things that could be a prequel.
It makes sense. It fits. They're doing the Mad Max, which is future apocalypse.
You're right.
They're doing Planet of the Apes right now, which is future apocalypse. So
it's fine.
The Book of Eli currently holds a 47% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 64% audience score. So
even more interesting
hopefully
that
they can
picked
build
this
on top of that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's very interesting that they chose to do this.
Somebody must be like attached, and you know what? I wonder if somebody, when the movie came out, somebody had an idea to do a prequel, and they finally get it off the ground. Like this has probably been in somebody's brain for the last 14 years or whatever.
Currently, it's saying it's being created, written, and executive produced by Gary Whitta, who also co-wrote After Earth, which stars Will Smith and Jaden Smith. With M. Night Shyamalan, but he did also co-develop Rogue One, which is one of the better of the non-Jedi Star Wars stories. So
all right. We'll see. We'll check it out.
50%
there we go. We'll see at least with the first episode looking like I always give something a chance.
Yeah. So maybe they can get Gareth Edwards to direct it. Because he worked with Gareth Edwards to make Rogue One. Okay. And Gareth Edwards made the creator.
I was just about to say,
at least
he already got that.
Of that type of thing. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Next bit of news we have was shocking, only because I was like, what? I thought we were done with this. There is a new Jurassic Park movie in the works. This news came via the Hollywood Reporter, and you might be saying, wasn't Jurassic World Dominion the last one? And I thought it was. They like pumped it up like we're done. Jurassic Park, Jurassic World is over. But apparently the guy who wrote the original Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park The Lost World, my favorite one. Well, it depends on what day it is. It's either Jurassic Park or The Lost World is my favorite. He is going to be writing this new Jurassic World movie. The way the article is written, it's supposed to be a new era, quote unquote, of Jurassic movies, so it's not.
I don't think it's been long enough to be a new era, unless they do some time jumping.
Post-apocalyptic? No, I'm just playing.
Oh my god!
You're right about that. It has not been long enough. This doesn't have any. It doesn't have a director. I don't think it has a. Well, it does probably have a plot of some sort if he's already started writing it. We just don't know what it is yet. But they made it seem like it's not going to be connected to any of the Jurassic Park movies, and it's not going to be connected to any of the Jurassic World movies, even though it's called Jurassic World. I guess they couldn't think of another name to use. My question is, at the end of Jurassic World Dominion, the dinosaurs was like chilling and out and about.
Yeah, I mean, they were part of the wildlife at that point.
Are we putting that back in the cage?
I don't think so, because it's still called Jurassic World. They did that short with the family that did the camping trick that ran into a T-Rex.
You're right.
So there's like little random things you can do with people running into dinosaurs.
Here's the thing. I don't think the general audiences ever get tired of dinosaurs. Ever.
No. Dinosaurs are like one of the... Dinosaurs incorporated into anything sell. Typically boost the sales.
Exactly. Which is why we all had high hopes for that 65 movie with Adam Driver. Which was good. It was just about 45 minutes too short with very little plot. Anywho, I'm just curious of how we continue in this story. That's my biggest concern.
So right now, the only people attached to it is David Cope, who is the screenwriter of the first two Jurassic Park films, Jurassic Park 1 and Jurassic Park The Lost World, which is... They're the top two of the films. I know people try to say that Jurassic Park 2 isn't a good movie. Jurassic Park 2 is one of the better Jurassic Park films.
Probably one of my top 5 movies I've seen.
I still find it strange that people find it hard to make it through Jurassic Park 2.
Who says that?
But enjoy Jurassic Park 3.
That one,
Jurassic Park 3 is blasphemy.
We skip
it's
over 3.
It's actually a spit in the face of the franchise.
You literally watch Jurassic Park 1, 2, and then you skip to go to Jurassic World.
Yeah, Jurassic Park 3 doesn't even need to take place.
And I like
and
Sam
they never
Neill.
reference it. They never reference Jurassic Park. They reference 2.
They don't reference it because nothing really happened. If you think about it, it all happened on that second island nobody knew about, and then it was over.
And that's also probably like you said, what else can they do with the franchise? That was probably a thought that they had when they made Jurassic Park 3. Because Jurassic Park 3 was just about a random family who stumbled upon the island.
The kid stumbled upon because they sent him on the island.
And they didn't have to be there. So Jurassic Park 3 didn't have to happen at all. And then it didn't have any implications on anything else that happened in the film.
Yeah, they definitely can't. But the cool thing about Jurassic World was that the people were able, it was all about escaping. Like, you had to escape off the island. How you can't escape if the whole world is dinosaurs? So
yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
But David Cope, I think that's how it's pronounced, is currently the screenwriter attached to it, but he's also penning the screenplay with Frank Marshall. Frank Marshall has worked with Steven Spielberg plenty of times.
Okay.
He's a film producer and director, but he has also produced several franchises, which includes the Indiana Jones franchise, the Back to the Future franchise, Bourne, and the Jurassic World franchise. So
we got a little action behind the scenes.
All of them are like over the age of 70, and they've all been part. Well, except for David Cope, he's 60, but they've all been part of Jurassic Park since the beginning.
So they got some history there.
So
they probably had a vision.
These are the original godfathers of Jurassic Park coming back.
Yeah, they probably got a vision. You know how many ideas they probably had with Jurassic Park and Jurassic World that they just didn't explore, and then somebody was like, I got a little money. You want take your idea off the ground? And they were like, yes, we absolutely do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to not see it, so I don't know what I'm
they could
about.
age up the characters from Camp Cretaceous and do something with them in live action.
They could.
Yeah.
They could. I would be down for that. I mean, let me just put it this way. It don't matter what it is, I'm going to see it. Because it's Jurassic Park related.
That's true. So. And it's going to make $1 billion. All of these people, Steven Spielberg, Frank Marshall, but except for David Cope, were executive producers on Camp Cretaceous. So, yeah.
They could definitely age them kids up. Oh, maybe that's the angle.
If it's a new era.
Yeah.
Although I still think it's too soon to do new era.
I think it won't be out until at least 2026. 2025. 7 at the earliest is my wild guess. We'll see. We'll see.
They also have that sequel to Camp Cretaceous coming out, the sequel series. So, and that comes out in 2024. So maybe that could tie into
people
it.
A couple
because
they're
already aging up Darius for the sequel series,
right?
So they could use an aged up Darius for the film.
I'm curious. Just And as always, you can just bring back Jeff Goldblum for a cameo.
Yeah. Oh, and make sure you bring back, let's see,
all of them, the originals, not the original 3.
either John Williams or Michael Giacchino.
Oh yes, listen,
preferably John Williams, but I'll accept Michael Giacchino because he does a good job.
It's good. I mean, you can't have Jurassic World and not have the theme music. That is blasphemous.
That was people's main complaint about Jurassic World, was that they used a different take on the John Wick because he didn't do the music for Jurassic World films.
Right. I still like it.
They kind of did the theme, but they did a different take on it, even though you could barely tell the difference.
I was going to say.
People really, really were upset about the difference in the tone of the theme. I don't know.
Score aficionados can recognize something like that. I did not. So, we'll see it. We're going to say, we're going to see it.
Yeah.
That, obviously, it's dinosaurs. Let's be real.
Next on the agenda, Amazon announced a planned film that's coming out called G20, which is an action thriller that is supposed to be led by Viola Davis.
Not supposed to be, sir. Is.
Who plays the president.
Presidente.
So the premise is
Davis.
The premise is G20, which I think is named after the G20 summit. Yes. Sees terrorists take over the G20 summit with American President Danielle Sutton, who's played by Viola Davis. It's Viola.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, she has said her name is pronounced Viola
You
Davis.
know what? These stars coming out, like, we're going to call you what we've been calling you and just roll with it. Let us have it. Let us have our moment. No, I'm just kidding. Viola, you said?
Yes, it's Viola Davis.
Okay, girl. Miss Davis, if we'll go with Miss Davis.
Yeah. So she plays the president, and terrorists have taken over the G20 summit. They're then bringing all of her statecraft and military experience to defend her family, her fellow leaders, and the world. So I'm just going to keep calling her Viola Davis. But
I was going to say, I'm never going to be, just like we just had the whole conversation about Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's too late.
I don't,
Still love you and respect you as a legend
Absolutely.
that you are. The film also stars Anthony Anderson, Marseille Martin. Anthony Anderson and Marseille Martin are both from Blackish.
Yep.
Clark Gregg, who is
Coulson.
famous for being in a lot of things, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the original Avengers as Coulson. And Anthony Starr, who is famous for being Homelander.
Homelander.
The last 3 people, well, not the last 3, but Viola Davis, Clark Gregg, and Anthony Starr all have played in comic book stuff. Which is funny because the world is getting smaller as comic book films get larger.
And that's because people want to be in them. I don't.
And they make money. And she actually enjoys playing Waller. She's said multiple times that she enjoys playing Waller. And she enjoys like non-real world like characters and science fiction stuff.
Waller is nuts. She crazy.
She does a very good job though. Yeah.
Well, it's just like in her character in Hunger Games.
She's like an evil Nick Fury.
Yes. She does it well though.
She does it really
She does it extremely well. I'm looking forward to this.
It sounds very White House Down.
I was literally
or Olympus Has Fallen, which
they're both same. They're the same.
Very
plot,
entertaining
right?
films.
Yes,
they're both the same movie.
Yes,
the original and the sequel.
Wait, let me see if I guess. Olympus Has Fallen. Morgan Freeman was president, right?
Yeah, they're like twin films.
And then White House Down was Jamie Foxx was president.
Yeah, it was Gerald Butler and Morgan Freeman.
Yep.
And Olympus Has Fallen. And White House Down was Channing Tatum.
Yes.
And Jamie Foxx.
Olympus Has Fallen also had London Has Fallen.
It had a sequel with Morgan Freeman and Gerald Butler as well.
Third one?
No.
Okay. Maybe they were going to plan a third one. I don't know why I thought that one had a third one.
Because they killed Angela Bassett in the second one. So
they did. But you're right. They are fun. I think I like White House. No, I think I like Olympus Has Fallen better than White House Down. But they are both fun.
Yeah, Olympus Has Fallen came out first.
Oh, okay.
And they were both serious, but I mean...
Were they?
They were both serious, but you have Jamie Foxx and Channing Tatum, which on the cover, it does not look very serious.
Doesn't give you presidential and
no.
Secret Service?
White House Down was like a few jokes away from 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, that's not serious.
But
at all. I don't know why I like Olympus Has Fallen better, though.
Gerald Butler does good action stuff. Just like what was that movie with the satellite that could control the weather? Geostorm.
He
knows how to make, and then Plane. So he knows how to make and that people really loved all 3 of those movies.
Plane got good reviews
because they were like no nonsense action films. Yeah, Plane got really good like audience scores. So
I would watch this because, like you said, it's gonna be a no nonsense action film.
And this is like a woman-led version of that, and it gives Viola Davis the opportunity to do her own like action. Like she's basically gonna be the president, and they basically made her the president and the Gerard Butler of this film.
I'll take it. I mean,
I think the president died in London Has Fallen.
No, yes. Morgan Freeman?
No, he wasn't the president. He was the Secretary of Defense.
Oh, you're right. So he probably did die. Yeah, he was probably toast.
Yeah. I think he did die because his family died in the first one. Oh. And then they killed the president finally in the second one.
Dang.
I feel like that's correct.
I mean, so I looked up Plane. You know what? We might have to watch Plane.
I'm not watching Plane.
Just guess. What's the audience score for Plane?
What, 89%?
94%. Guess what the critic score is for Plane?
What, 27%?
78%. It's only an hour and 47 minutes.
So
we
long.
Watching it. I'm watching this. I'm watching this. Come on. I'm surprised this wasn't more talked about. Would it?
It was talked about.
Plane well, when it came out. You're right. You're right.
Because that name.
I wonder if it's like a Edge of Tomorrow. Like it's a sleeper hit. We don't know it yet. Come on. Maybe.
It could be. That's possible.
All right.
Because Edge of Tomorrow had no reason to be as good as it was.
It was good.
Even though, I mean, in hindsight, Edge of Tomorrow had good actors in it, but plot-wise.
Right. So this is, we don't have a release date for G20, led by Viola Davis. Viola Davis. And I wonder if Anthony Anderson is her husband or if he's just another character.
Marseille Martin is definitely her daughter.
Absolutely.
That it doesn't make any sense for her to be anybody else.
Right.
I mean, she could be whoever
role,
she
though.
wants to. But
right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Interesting. That'll be an interesting pairing. I kind of can't see it.
I can't either.
Only because Angela. I was about to call her Angela Davis. Because Viola Davis is just very, she's very, what I want to say.
Anthony Anderson is a child.
Okay.
Viola Davis is like, I mean, and
you said
she
it.
is a serious actor.
Not me. I was trying to find one word to say all of that, but you're correct.
Yeah. So maybe he's supposed to be like the comedic relief.
Maybe he is Secret Service.
Or he could be Secret Service.
And Anthony Starr is the villain.
Or he could be a member of the cabinet. It says the G20 summit, so there are all types of people who are going to be here. What I do think would be an interesting twist, which I don't think is going to happen. Anthony Starr is absolutely the villain.
Oh, he could switch him up.
But it would be a nice change of pace for Anthony Starr to be a good guy and Clark Gregg to be the villain.
I can see
Clark Gregg is typically the good guy.
Right.
And Anthony Starr is known as Homelander, so you expect him to be the bad guy.
He should switch it up he should be the good guy.
Yeah.
He could be Secret Service
Clark Gregg
too.
could be a bad guy.
Absolutely.
Coulson had a dark side.
I mean, it's Clark Gregg. I'm sure he could pull it off.
So I'm interested. I'm definitely going to see this. This is Viola Davis constantly talks about Black actresses not getting as many opportunities. And she also always talks about being interested in doing different types of roles.
She is definitely not pigeonholed to a role.
No, she likes to stretch her abilities.
I love Viola Davis.
I'm absolutely down to support this, Viola.
We will keep you guys up to date with this. I'm hoping that it gets a theater release and Amazon just doesn't stick it on Prime.
I don't know, because apparently they said that they were going to theatrically release Roadhouse, and then they turned around and
they real mad about
betrayed
that.
the directors and creatives behind that. So
yes, so
hopefully they keep their word.
Well, yeah, I feel like if you have an action thriller with these people, it deserves to be in the theater.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have Mufasa, Lion King. If you guys didn't know, there's a Lion King prequel coming. I guess it's a prequel to the live action Lion King, but
this is original story.
The live action Lion King is exactly the same as the cartoon, so it's a prequel to both. Let's just say it's a prequel to both.
Yeah, the live action Lion King is just it's a copy.
It is too much of a copy, actually, and it actually took out some of the songs. But anyway, it still made $1 billion somehow. Anywho, the premise for Mufasa Lion King has been revealed. Now, I will say, I looked for this elsewhere and I couldn't find it. So I'm just going to roll with this as accurate. And if it comes out to be different, act like you didn't hear this from me.
Okay.
So the premise is after a terrible flood floods the separates the young lion Mufasa from his parents. His life is saved by another lion cub named Taka. Mufasa and Taka grow up like brothers. But years later, when the lions are almost grown up, another group of dangerous lions threatens the existence of them, Mufasa and Taka, to flee together. There they encounter both new allies and many dangers, and their loyalty to each other is also put to the test. Because which one of them is really destined to rule as the Lion King, and at what price? So, if this is a prequel,
Mm-hmm.
and we know Mufasa becomes the Lion King,
Mm-hmm.
why is that a question?
I think Taka is Scar.
Scar's name wasn't really Scar?
No.
That was his nickname?
Yeah, Scar was a nickname. And it's actually on the Lion King animated wiki. But
I never knew. Of course it existed. I don't know why I would think it wouldn't.
Scar was the name that was given to him because of the scar. But his true name is supposed to be Taka. So I think it's a prequel about how Mufasa and Scar aren't actually brothers, but this is how they met.
Oh, and how they eventually fall apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if I care enough, but this is directed by Barry Jenkins, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I have to see it.
And who is Barry Jenkins?
Barry Jenkins is the director of Moonlight. Moonlight.
Beale Street Could Talk?
Yes. You know Barry Jenkins. The name is just escaping you. I'm trying to, let's pull up his filmography real quick. You just had to
Moonlight,
see his face.
If Beale Street Could Talk, and he was the director of the Underground series, the Underground Railroad, that was on Amazon, that Amazon also canceled.
No, you know what? It actually started on UPN.
Oh, it did start on UPN.
Yeah, and then the UPN went away.
Wait, was it that old?
It was a UPN or CW?
Let's see.
Now we about to find out because I could be lying to you guys completely while I look up Barry Jenkins' filmography. So Moonlight, If Beale Street Could Talk, After Sun, which I feel like I've heard of, and then Mufasa, the Lion King. He also he directed Dear White People, The Underground Railroad.
Wait, the movie or the Netflix show?
Netflix show.
Ugh.
Oh boy. Underground Railroad.
So was it his decision to make that last season a musical?
No, you are absolutely right. The Underground Railroad was on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Why am I? Oh, I'm thinking of something else.
I think didn't it like premiere on cable, and then it was acquired.
It got
by
moved
Amazon?
around. Like we're about to do some investigative journalism here in 1 second. No, it says it was on Prime. We're thinking of something else.
I know there was a lot of controversy about it because it was like it had high viewership, had a 94% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and then Amazon like canceled it without actually giving a clear, concise reason for why.
Right.
Probably just to cut cost.
I mean, because studios suck nowadays. Okay, so he's got some stuff.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I think Moonlight is his most famous. Well, probably Moonlight and Underground. Then
it also won a Peabody Award. So.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Now we got to see Mufasa. It's directed by a Peabody Award winner. Yeah. And he's black.
Yes.
So. There is there is a bit of a cast for Mufasa.
Is James Earl Jones coming back?
No, he'd be too old. This is young Mufasa.
Yeah.
So we would have to get, I'm trying to see who they have. I think John, is it Connie or Kana, or who does Rafiki? Who was also in Black Panther?
Rafiki in
the Lion King
cartoon, or I'm sorry, the animated film or the live action film?
Oh, he did both, but the cartoon. I'm thinking of the cartoon.
So he'll be returning. I think it's supposed to be. I think the movie is supposed to be Rafiki narrating the story to Simba about how Mufasa came to be.
I wouldn't be upset about that. Yeah, I wouldn't be upset about that.
Because I also think that after this, they are still doing the Lion King 2.
Listen, Lion King 2 soundtrack, bangs.
Lion King 2 soundtrack is like amazing.
Now, just make sure we keep the soundtrack in the movie.
And the film isn't bad. The film actually has a good premise.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little bit more the same.
For sure.
Just with like Simba's daughter.
Right.
But the soundtrack was really good. Deception Disgrace is #1 on Billboard.
Disgrace. I love that soundtrack.
It's great.
It's funny because I thought I forgot it, and then I don't know whether it came on or somebody started singing. I was like, oh, I know all these songs. I'm tripping.
And You Pandy? It's a great.
And you panty
It's so
down.
good.
Okay, so Mufasa the Lion King comes out December 20th, 2024. So it is going to be a Christmas movie. Oh, it's probably going to do very well. Christmas,
Didn't the last
Lion
one come out during
King.
Christmas?
I don't remember.
Black films do really well during the holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is, I mean, even though people dogged the Lion King live action remake, it still did $1 billion. So somebody liked it.
Well, the only complaint about the live action remake of The Lion King was that it was the same.
Yeah.
Nobody could actually critique the material because you would then have to be critiquing The Lion King, which is impossible.
Right. People were saying, oh, it's soulless. But I was like, it's literally the same movie.
It's the same. Movie.
My biggest complaint was that they took out some significant songs.
Yeah. And people didn't like the fact that the animals' mouths didn't move when they talk like humans.
So
because that's how lions talk. They have lips.
They shouldn't call it live action because it's not real lions. It's more like a CGI.
It's also animated.
Yeah, it's also it's just elevated animation.
Yeah,
basically. And I don't even want to call it elevated because that means other or lesser. But it's different animation style.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
it's animated in the way that dinosaur documentaries are animated.
There it is.
Because that's not live action.
No. It's very good though.
Very good. Yeah.
It's very good. So this will be a Christmas hit. I'm calling it right now. I'm curious to see who the other voice cast people are in this. We'll see how long it'll be before we get a trailer. Next piece of news is more of a tidbit, kind of. So J.J. Abrams' Superman film is still in development. And if you are curious as to how this Superman film differs from the Superman Legacy film, one, we will have 2 Supermans in one universe, which is controversial because typically you don't have that, because we will also have 2 Batmans, and I'm gonna guess we have 2 Jokers because we have Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and then they're probably gonna have a Joker in the DC version,
and whoever is that Batman's Joker,
right?
They'll probably have 2 Harley Quinns. One is going to be Lady Gaga,
you're right,
who is in the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and they'll probably create a new Harley Quinn
for the Batman
Brave and the Bold that they're trying to do.
Interesting. Now, this J.J. Abrams Superman is supposed to be outside of there's Elseworlds, whereas the Joker, the Batman with Robert Pattinson will be, and where this Superman film will be, James Gunn confirmed this on Threads. He's moved from Twitter to Threads, and he's
the only one. Nobody's joined him in that effort.
My thing is, people were telling him he need to take a break from social media because he was always on Twitter clapping back at people and getting upset because people were asking questions and getting mad because people were coming up with crazy theories. And it's like, so you just moved to a different social media platform?
Yeah, and nobody reads anything he posts on Threads. They just screenshot it and posted to Twitter.
You just made a new social media app. Yeah, so the J.J. Abrams Superman film is where Superman is going to be black, right?
Yes. So maybe this is a black Superman.
Still?
Right. So some details about this. It's still in development. It is supposed to be written by Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah.
Or Ta-Nehisi Coates. I don't want to pronounce that incorrectly. Ta-Nehisi Coates also wrote the most successful Black Panther comic book storyline, which was kind of like a futuristic version of Wakanda.
Okay.
Where Black Panther had to make his way back to Earth, I believe.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool.
I think it was about Wakanda was like having like an internal war that was being led by M'Baku, and Black Panther was like stranded as a prisoner out in space, and he had to make his way back to Earth to save Wakanda.
Okay.
In Storm. So he's a really good comic book writer. And this version of Superman, original Superman is Kal-El, who is the son of Jor-El.
Yes.
Of Krypton.
Yep.
This Superman is Val-Zod, who is the son of Zod of Krypton.
So this Superman is a son of the typical villain versus a son of the typical hero. Okay.
Yeah, so he's the son of Zod, who was killed on Krypton.
He's still a good Superman?
He's still a good guy.
Okay.
But he's just the descendant of
Zod.
Of Krypton's most infamous terrorist.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little plot twist.
And the story kind of like follows the same. He crash lands on Earth, is raised by humans.
So what's
and has
different
to become
other than
Superman.
his dad?
Other than the fact he's black and that changes
Oh,
his
he's black. He's black.
He's black.
Yes.
Other than the
Right.
fact that he's black and that kind of changes his experience in being the Superman of Earth.
Okay.
There's no real difference. They changed it's Elseworlds.
Yes.
And to explain what Elseworlds is DC's version of What If. So it's the same story with the same characters. They just tweak some background things and that kind of changes the outcome.
But Elseworlds is What If is more of kind of like fun. These are these are a bunch of different plot lines that we are allowing the creators to go create. Elseworlds is like more serious. It's like its own canon in a sense.
Yeah, most Elseworld stuff are dark.
Right. Like the Batman is like canon in its own way. And then you have the Joker, which is canon in its and that's also interesting. But because what ifs connect a little bit.
What if stuff, even though what if stuff is supposed to be like fun alternate stories, they are still universes. Like Captain Carter
You're right.
That's still an existing universe that
because she connects
sometimes clashes with the main universe.
You're right.
So,
you're right.
Yeah.
Elseworld
stories are just darker. Yes.
They are darker. So I guess more adult. This will probably not be your kid's Superman movie. Just like the Batman was not your kid's Batman movie. Just like the Joker is not your kid's Joker movie. I'm curious if this is going to continue to confuse the general audience.
Probably. Yeah.
And I also worry that this is going to cause a discourse amongst who's the better Superman, who's the better Batman, who's the better Joker, who's the better Harley Quinn. It's just gonna go on and on and on.
And so I don't care about him being black. I think that's cool and that's fine. And it's not like they're doing this pandering thing. This is a character
already
who's existed in comic books for decades. So this isn't like them doing a new spin on
making Batman.
They're not
black
race
would
bending.
Be different.
This is an entirely different character who exists in a different universe. Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne are supposed to be like the best versions of themselves. So every other version of Batman and version of Superman is going to be like darker by default. But this is kind of dumb because it's another example of James Gunn 100% backpedaling on something he said he absolutely would not do in the very beginning. When he became the Kevin Feige of DC, he said very early on that he was going to bring it all together and keep it together. He wasn't going to do branching timelines yet. He was going to keep everything consistent and flesh out the one universe before jumping into other things.
The big problem with the old DC EU was that it was too much going on and nothing connected it. This movie was doing this, but the other movie retconned it and all this.
Every time a movie in the DCU didn't do good, they were like, oh, well, that's okay because it's in a different universe. And James Gunn was like, oh, I'm not going to do that. Every movie's going to be good and it's all going to be in the same universe and we're going to take accountability.
Lies.
And it first started to crumble when he said
didn't
he wasn't
let go everybody.
Didn't let go of everybody when he said he wasn't going to just let Robert Pattinson's Batman be the Batman,
which is crazy to me.
He decided he wanted to do his own Batman, and that's when people first started seeing the signs of the nonsense. And then just recently, he was talking about how he wants to cast. That's why he's casting all these like unknown people or lesser known people because he said he wanted to use young, fresh faces because the plan is to use relatively unknown people to build them up through the franchise,
through the universe.
Kind of like, Marvel didn't use nobody that Marvel used in the beginning was relatively unknown. They were all like established actors who had been in
somewhere,
the
right? Even if they were like known
like Jeremy
in
Renner was, and
absolutely.
Chris Evans were like the least famous, but they were still very famous in their careers. But he wanted to use fresh faces. And that's why he's casting all of these people that nobody cares about to play all these other roles.
I'd be so unenthused every time somebody say something. I just be like, okay, but I don't know who this is.
Now he's and they just asked him about Harley Quinn because he's supposed to be recasting everybody, but then he's like, well, I want Margot Robbie to be Harley Quinn forever, and Margot Robbie was like, gee, thanks, but I'm producing $1 billion films myself. I don't need to be here.
I don't ever see her coming. Maybe outside of maybe a cameo. If that, I don't see her coming back as Harley Quinn.
Now we officially have 2 Supermans. We have 2 Batmans.
We're going to have 2 Jokers.
We're going to have 2 Jokers. We're going to have 2 Harley Quinns.
Probably.
If he still wants to keep using Harley Quinns. Margot is not coming back.
2 Catwomans.
We don't even have,
we got one in the Batman.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to have 2 Catwomen because Batman doesn't have any other love interests. He has others, but they don't stick around.
Right.
So.
I will admit I am not enthusiastic about the DC new wave. But we're going to watch it.
It's not hard to follow for us.
Right.
Because we've seen this enough to know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to explain to other people.
Yes.
And that's kind of frustrating. When people are like, well, why do you like this? Well, what's the difference? I have a friend who, depending on what he texts me, I know what film he's just randomly started watching. And it's frustrating to try to explain to somebody who does not live and breathe comic book stuff what's going on.
In the movies.
Yeah.
Or they'll be like, this doesn't make any sense. And you'll be like, well, in a comic. And then they changed it.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to circle back to it. Having 2 Batmans is crazy to me. Having 2 Supermans is crazy to me. I don't know. I already know I'm not going to like the discourse between the white Superman and the black Superman. So
they did the exact same with Miles Morales. And that was,
oh my God,
that wasn't even that was a completely,
it wasn't a race bend either. Right.
Yeah.
Not my Superman. Like, well, then don't play.
And
Just
there's already they're still talking about Henry Cavill being robbed of the opportunity to be Superman. They still have not let that die.
He was, but I've let it go. He's not. It's over, y'all. It's finished. They got somebody who looked just like that man, so everybody should be happy.
He looks literally like a carbon copy of that.
Copy.
He just looks like a younger version of Henry Cavill.
They did that junk on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm not fooled.
And the only reason they did it is because Henry Cavill's 40. And they want to do this for like the next 10 years. And it would look weird with a 50-year-old Batman standing next to everybody else who's probably like in their 30s.
But Wonder Woman is supposed to be, we'll see what even happens.
We don't even know.
We don't even know. You're right. So Black Superman coming, y'all. We don't know when, we don't know how, and we don't know if it's going to make sense, but it's coming.
So this was teased actually back when Zack Snyder was still doing.
Oh, yeah. It's been bubbling for a while.
Originally, the rumor was that Michael B. Jordan was attached to play Val-Zod.
Oh, really?
That is no longer the case?
I doubt it.
I also don't know
who. They're going to get some unknown? Some unknown. It's going to be unknown.
Who's left?
Some unknown.
Yeah,
We not even going to know who it is. It's going
to be somebody that probably did like one season on a Netflix
show. It's going to be the same way they're doing with the DC.
Because right now, we don't have this on the agenda, but right now they're deciding between 2 actresses to play Supergirl, and one played the younger version of the main character from House of the Dragon.
Right.
That was like in the first like 5 episodes for the aged her up.
I remember you telling me that when I was like, who is this?
And another girl that nobody knows. So
unenthused. I'm unenthused. I'm not saying every person needs to be somebody famous, but I don't know. Have some body of work that I recognize.
A casting announcement needs to be, when you announce a casting, it needs to be somebody that people know.
I agree, especially for superhero stuff.
You can't just be like, we've casted Sarah to play Supergirl, and it's like, great, who?
Right.
What is it that you do?
I text you and was like, who is this? I don't know who this is.
Yeah.
We'll see. That's all I have to say about that.
Believe nothing. That's what I have to say.
Okay.
James Gunn has committed himself to not telling the truth and backpedaling.
Vague. So keep it vague so he can go either direction.
Believe nothing you hear and forget everything you know.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Our next bit of news is about a new movie called Honey Don't. It stars Chris Evans, Aubrey Plaza, and Margaret Qualley. Is that how you say her name?
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Okay. This came via Deadline and The Hollywood Reporter. It's going to be directed by Ethan Coen, who is half of the Coen brothers. If you don't know who the heck the Coen brothers are, they are pretty popular. They are known for Raising Arizona, which is one of probably Nicolas Cage's most famous or most popular movies. Fargo, The Big Lebowski, Lady Killers, which was actually really good. I forgot about
Lady
that
Killers
movie.
That was Tom Hanks where they lived in the basement.
Yep.
That was a really good movie.
And No Country for Old Men.
Great movie.
I don't think I knew if they did that or not. But they got a good track record.
Yeah.
Well, let me take this. The duo has a good track record, so I'm gonna assume the brother will have it by himself.
Yes.
This is supposed to be a comedy. All the movies that I named, like Fargo, Lady Killers, Raising Arizona. I don't think No Country for Old Men is a comedy, right?
Javier Bardem is funny.
Okay, so it does.
But it's not a funny movie. He's like a quirky hitman.
Okay. So the other movies or Fargo is kind of not funny.
Fargo has comedy,
but it has
like cop comedy.
Yes, William H. Macy plays a goof. He almost borderline plays the same guy he played
Jurassic Park 3.
No, the one movie the show that stresses me out. Shameless.
Shameless? Oh no.
Maybe not that bad.
He's the worst at Shameless.
But he also is.
He's good. He's funny.
He's good.
He's like a funny train wreck in Shameless.
Right. So you know what? That's a perfect description. These movies are funny train wrecks.
That's true.
That's what they know for.
They're all about
misfortune.
People on the edge.
Yes, misfortune. Yeah. People keep messing up. But this particular movie is supposed to also be a comedy. Quayle will play a private eye. Aubrey Plaza is supposed to play a mysterious woman. And Chris Evans is supposed to play a leader of a cult. And that is all we know about this movie. I think.
That's funny.
What?
The Margaret Qualley casting.
What is she from?
So Margaret Qualley is, I don't know a lot that she's from, but she was one of the Manson killers in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh.
Which was a cult. So.
Okay. She is, okay. She's switching it up. She's playing a private eye.
So now she's playing a private eye.
Okay.
I believe she died in that movie.
I didn't see that.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was the Brad Pitt, Quentin Tarantino movie.
Right. Yep.
And there were two girls that were with Marilyn Manson that were the killers. One,
they didn't both go to jail. I think in real life they both went to jail.
She lived and went to jail. The other girl,
they might have switched it up. Of course,
the killer from Scream 5.
Oh,
that they set on fire and shot.
Okay,
which is funny because in Once Upon a Time they also set her on fire and shot her.
Maybe she got a thing.
So yeah, so it's just funny. But when you think about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was a serious, funny movie about a train wreck that's kind of in the same vein as like Fargo, this makes sense.
Yeah. I think that this movie will need to be a hit for Chris Evans.
Oh yeah, because he's yeah.
I didn't look up to see what he got nominated for, but I bet you it's that movie he has with
Emily Blunt.
Oh no, or maybe I guess he got a couple Razzie nominations.
Oh,
and then I was like, oh, is it that Ghosted? But you're right, it might be the Emily Blunt
it could
movie.
Be Ghosted.
It could be. People didn't seem to like
People
Ghosted.
Did not like Ghosted at all.
The trailers didn't look very good.
I think he's a good comedic actor. He should stick to comedies.
But Ghosted was supposed to be funny, right?
He was funny in Knives Out.
He was good in Knives Out.
Ghosted was supposed to be funny, kind of like Night and Day was supposed to be funny. But that was a bad movie.
Well, I guess people were like, one, the acting's bad, and two, it wasn't believable. Like Chris Evans is not having issues with no women because he looks like Chris Evans.
No, did you see Night and Day?
I did, but that's with Steve Carell.
No, that was Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz.
Oh no,
it was Night spelled with a K.
Yes,
and Day.
I did not see
Ghosted
that.
was supposed to kind of be like Night and Day.
Oh, okay, I know like of Night and Day though.
I think Night and Day is where Cameron Diaz is the regular girl, and Tom Cruise is the secret agent, and in Ghosted he's supposed to be the regular girl,
and she's
the
other
person's
agent.
supposed to be the secret agent.
Yeah, it did not get well reviewed at all. I'm pulling for Chris Evans. I know he got it in him. He can be the comeback kid.
He's getting closer and closer to coming back to being Captain America. A couple more flops.
Listen, they gonna be like, sir, we actually got somebody. His name is Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
So flashbacks. You know what? He might be in What If season 4.
He could be in What If. Yeah, he could do some voice acting.
They could be like, I need the. Although, because I don't particularly love the guy who does Chris Evans' voice in What If. Sorry, I hope you're not listening. So if they got the actual Chris Evans, that could be good. He might need it. I don't know. His picker been a little off lately.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a release date for this. This announcement just came out. I think they just started production on this, so it'll be a little while before it comes out. But we'll keep you guys posted.
He also still has that Red One movie coming out with The Rock about being Santa's
movie?
bodyguard or something. I don't know if he's supposed to be the villain or if he's supposed to be one of the good guys, but yeah.
That ain't looking too good either.
So, but that's also the last thing he has on his list, and that comes out this year. So,
Oh, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, Christopher. Okay, well, now we're gonna get into our little segment that I made up called.
Also, Aubrey Plaza. I like Aubrey Plaza.
Oh yes,
She's a really good actress.
This will fit her perfectly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She's like great. Dark comedy queen.
She's also coming up in Agatha Harkness's show.
Yep.
She's supposed to play one of the witches, and I really, really, really liked her character in White Lotus season 2. So
I need to watch White Lotus. I restarted watching Parks and Rec the first season.
It's so good.
So freaking. It's still hilarious. Yeah. After all this time.
She's good at like deadpan comedy, so I hope there's some of that in here.
So funny.
And I think if Chris Evans and Aubrey Plaza are supposed to be a couple, I think that'll be funny.
They could play off each other pretty well.
Absolutely.
He does comedy well.
He does do comedy well.
Not like I don't even know what to call it. Maybe dark comedy is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, he was very dark comedy in Knives Out.
Yeah,
he was like the outcast relative.
Right, like he was comedic but also serious, but he played it well. He got it. He got it in there. We just need somebody to get it out.
Yeah.
All right, next section, our last section that I have for news is called Quick Bits. I just made it up. So first thing I have on the list is Deadpool 3 has finished filming. So it is going to come out on time, y'all.
Yeah.
Well, I think everybody was a little nervous. It's supposed to come out in July. I think they got plenty of time. So Deadpool 3 is done. It's finished. Hugh Jackman has shaved his face and all that jazz because he posted a picture. And he can go back to eating cheeseburgers.
Yes.
Congratulations. Next thing that finished rapid. Oh, I didn't know this. You added this on here.
I did.
Mortal Kombat 2 has also finished filming.
Yes.
When is that coming out?
I believe that comes out in 2025.
Really? We gotta wait that long for Mortal Kombat with no combat?
Well, it got delayed because of the strikes. So it just wrapped filming a couple days ago, actually.
You know, they got a lot of CGI in that too.
It does have a lot of CGI. The last one was really good with the visual effects.
It just
I
didn't
don't have any
combat.
complaints about the last one other than the fact that there was no actual Mortal Kombat.
Yes. That is the biggest complaint about Mortal Kombat is the lack of combat.
But I'm going to say it comes out in 2025 for 2 reasons. One, because it does not have a release date.
I was literally about to say, I don't even see a release date on here.
2,
okay.
There's way too many things coming out this year now to advertise it.
I agree.
I feel like Mortal Kombat would fit better as a summer blockbuster, and they've missed that train.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Random factoid: the guy who made Mortal Kombat 2 is the same director who did Mortal Kombat 1, and that was his directorial debut.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie. It was not poorly directed. It could have used some Mortal Kombat.
It could have.
But other than that, I did not have any issues.
Interesting.
It felt really small. Mortal Kombat is supposed to be like this big thing. Mortal Kombat should feel like an Avengers film because that's the thing about Mortal Kombat. It's the roster. That's the best part about it. It's all the people who come together and fight and do all that.
And do all their cool little tricks and all, they showcasing all their little special abilities.
But the whole movie kind of took place in 2 settings.
It did.
And there was no arena. I mean, there was no real arena.
No.
Or nothing.
There was literally no combat.
Like Mortal Kombat should feel like a sports film.
Agree. And at the end, you have like the big thing. Yes.
It felt small though.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
And they didn't need that.
What?
Cole Young guy. No
he
no
was
offense against the
literally
actor,
the main character.
We didn't need. Need a new character to be the audience. We are the audience.
Don't disagree with you, but he was literally the main character.
Yeah. So Mortal Kombat 2 stars all the same people from the first one, but they also brought in some new characters to the film, but you would know Johnny Cage.
Yep.
Who is going to be played by Carl Urban.
Interesting choice only
because he's much older.
Yeah, you listen.
And that's not a knock on Carl Urban.
But
just Johnny Cage should be contemporaries with the rest of the cast.
I and the world agree on that casting. And we all like Carl Urban. We just kind of like, what?
Especially with the actress that they have playing Sonya Blade.
Maybe it's a multiversal situation. He's from a different universe.
God, please no.
Listen. Why not?
Mortal Kombat already has existing timeline issues.
Exactly. So why not add the multiverse?
There's no reason to do that. But they also added Tati Gabriel as Jade.
Oh yeah. I like her.
Katana's bodyguard.
Oh, I don't
And
think I knew that.
yeah, she plays Jade is Katana's bodyguard and best friend.
Okay.
In the
Mortal Kombat
lore of Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Tati Gabriel was from You.
Yep.
She was also in the Sabrina show on Netflix, and she was the villain in the Uncharted movie.
I liked her in the Uncharted movie.
She was good.
And You, but also Uncharted.
But they also have a bunch of different actors and actresses who are a little bit lesser known, but they're going to put in like Katana and Shao Kahn and so Sindel and everybody's favorite playable characters.
They better fight in the movie this time. Another thing we got was What If Season 3 sneak peeks, which was exciting.
Yeah.
So Season 2 just wrapped this Christmas, but I'm pretty sure they had to do Season 2 and Season 3 together.
I think they said they did.
Because they're already showing us Season 3 sneak peeks. And we got 3 pictures. I think it was 3 or 4.
They put out the teaser for Season 3 before the final episode of Season 2
We did.
out.
We got a clip before all the episodes of Season 2 ended. So they got it in a holster and they ready to shoot. The Season 3 sneak peek pictures, there was a picture of Transformer.
So I thought it was
Gundam.
I think it's Gundam.
Gundam Wing.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's supposed to be more like Gundam.
We got some Gundam Wing Avengers. We have Red Guardian and Bucky doing something. I think there might have been a 4th picture. I don't know, but there's one
like some Ant-Man thing happening.
Yes, Ant-Man thing. But the one that was most hype about was there's a picture of Monica. Sam is Captain America, and Bucky.
Yeah, I think it's Bucky.
It looks like a clean shaven Bucky.
Yeah.
I was excited to see Monica and Sam because
absolutely.
One of the complaints that people had of last season was where are the newer quote unquote people?
Like we're still using the old people.
We're still using the old Avengers. We're still using people from season 1. Where's Sam? Y'all didn't forgot about Sam. Y'all didn't forgot about the black man. The black man can't get no shine. It's like they heard us before we knew they heard us because they clearly have already shot all this and filmed all this and recorded all this. So Monica coming back in Season 3, or not coming back, Monica showing up in Season 3, Sam showing up in Season 3. I'm already claiming it my favorite episode. I don't even know what the episode was about.
Yeah, so
it's my favorite already.
2 things. One, she looks amazing in the show. She looks exactly like she's Rick.
She's got a twist out, y'all. And she got a cartoon twist out in the picture.
I need her to actually be voiced by Tiana Paris.
Please.
Like, there's no reason she shouldn't.
Yeah.
And Tiana Paris seems to really enjoy playing the character.
I agree. So, yes, hopefully they cut her the check and she is voicing. Same for Anthony Mackie. Hopefully they cut him the check, too.
Yeah.
And because I don't know what the reason is why some people don't come back, but it just always add a little extra oomph when you have the original actor, or you get somebody who sounds deathly close, like Robert Downey Jr.
So let's see.
We don't know anything about how many episodes.
Captain Carter's still supposed to be in it.
Okay.
I think it should come out before.
Is it supposed to come out this year? Do we know?
Brave New World.
Oh, the Captain America movie. So not till next year then.
It should come out before Brave New World.
I agree.
Because I think it should be a nice,
like
soft,
hype up.
A reminder of who Sam is as Captain America. It's funny because people started after this was announced, because we have not seen Sam as Captain America since the show.
Nope, have not.
Captain America and the Winter Soldier. So
we were supposed to see him this year, but
were supposed to see him this year, but the movie was awful, so they had to rewrite it.
We don't know that. We just know it wasn't ready.
They've released some duds, so if they rewrote it before we saw it, that means it was super duddish.
Okay.
But
they're undudding the dud.
But people were posting like clips and GIFs from Captain America the Winter Soldier when he finally got the last episode, when he got into his suit and
vibranium.
He was like using his new vibranium wings and he created like this
the shield or whatever
shield with his shield and the wings and a whole helicopter bounced off of it and blew up.
I saw that clip.
And I was like, oh, I haven't seen this in so long. I forgot that Captain America's like super overpowered now.
He's got a vibranium suit.
Yeah, even though he doesn't have like he's Captain America in a new interesting way that isn't just like Steve Rogers Captain America
strong.
Where he's just strong. He actually has like tools, like Batman-esque things.
Because Sam didn't have super soldier serum.
No, he's got like a drone that flies with him now.
He
has the
drone.
wings that like retract and do things, and he's got like the whole vibranium suit now. So
Uh-huh.
he
I
has a whole
agree.
different set of powers.
I agree that it should come out before.
And that would be cool to be reminded, like, this is who Sam is. So
Right.
get hype for when his movie comes out. Because at first when they were like, he's going to be fighting Harrison Ford's Hulk, I'm like, he has no powers.
He's got a
gonna
vibranium suit.
Destroyed. But now I forgot he had a vibranium suit. Because
It's been a while.
They haven't done anything with him
That
in so
show
long.
came out in what, like 2021?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
So
and we've seen plenty of Bucky incorporated
Listen,
and stuff.
Sebastian Stan be like, sign me up.
Yeah.
Put me in, coach.
Bucky's
I'm
been
ready.
all through the what if stuff, but they just haven't brought Sam back. So
You're right. And this is kind of a side, but related. They are starting to film Thunderbolts again, like starting back up, or maybe starting from the beginning. And Sebastian Stan was like, he's excited to go back because he enjoys, like, he was like, it's gonna be good to be back. I enjoy making these movies. It's so much fun. I was like, yay.
And we'll kind of have two. Well, I mean, he's not Falcon anymore. He's Captain America. But we'll have two. He'll have another Falcon.
Anthony Ramos is not him.
No,
I know you're talking about.
Is another. It's the same guy from the show.
Yes, it's playing Falcon
And
now.
he's playing the new Falcon. So they'll both have like wings and Falcon suits.
I
and
liked
stuff.
him in that show.
That'll be cool.
It was good.
I totally forgot what that movie was gonna be and Sam's potential. So I'm glad that they're doing stuff with him again.
They got me with Monica and Sam in the same.
But
picture.
I mean, yeah. But the main draw was Monica.
Monica. I was excited to see Sam as well, but I was like, it's Monica.
Yeah.
And it was the same day I ordered my Marvel Steelbook. Just a good. It was a good Marvel day for me.
So super excited about that. I wonder what the Gundam episode is going to be about. Like, are they going to be like?
Giving Gundam.
Is it going to be a suit driven by
one
a
of
person?
them don't even looks full Gundam, and the other one looks like
Optimus Prime.
Captain America Optimus Prime Gundam.
Yeah.
So very interesting of how that's gonna. Last season was very good, so I'm looking forward to this one very much.
Yeah. Next tidbit we have Gillian Anderson has been cast in Tron Ares, which I think it's just called Tron 3 now.
Oh.
Which is very interesting.
I mean, does it matter?
It kind of does, because does that now mean that they're connected?
I actually haven't seen any of the Tron movies.
So the first Tron was awful.
I was about to say, should I? But now you've answered that question.
But you can watch the second.
No, I'm good.
You can watch the second Tron. Wasn't bad.
Oh, okay.
The second Tron was entertaining. It was short, but the second Tron kind of gives the backstory of the first Tron.
Okay.
So you don't have to watch it.
Hey, but this Tron gonna have Jared Leto in it.
This Tron is gonna have Jared Leto. So that's what I'm saying. If you want to watch a Tron, watch the second one.
Just the second one. Yeah. Check out. Okay.
But when they called it Tron, and they changed the logo.
I didn't see that part.
So now I'm like, so is this gonna be?
Are they reinventing
reference the first one?
Oh,
like did this go through rewrites?
I'm not feeling. As I just said, I haven't seen the other Trons, so I'm not optimistic about this one. But Gillian Anderson, I don't think has been in a lot, so I thought this casting was cool because she's back on the scene.
So she has been in, let's see, Sex Education.
Oh, okay.
She plays the mom in Sex Education,
so
I believe.
take back my statement then.
Yes. So she's the mom in Sex Education who's like the main character one of the main characters who gives the other main character the idea to be like a sex therapist in high school.
Okay.
But other than that, I think she's just done TV stuff. Okay. Not very many films.
So cool for her.
The Crown.
Oh, I didn't know she was in The Crown.
She's in the Netflix family of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I will see what Tron turns out to be. I don't know. But it'll be a movie.
So it has a good cast.
Does it?
Currently stars Jared Leto. Okay. But also Evan Peters.
Okay.
Cameron Monaghan, I think is how it's pronounced.
Okay.
Cameron Monaghan is from Shameless. He's the military son.
Okay.
But he's also the main character in those Jedi Fallen Order games.
Oh, okay, cool.
Jodie Turner-Smith.
Oh, dang it. Now I gotta watch it.
And Greta Lee.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll wait for a trailer.
Okay.
Before I judge.
But you do have to get past the Jared Leto part because he is the main character.
Listen, if his character is like he was in Haunted Mansion, I'm down.
He has to be present.
We'll see then.
Tron is about humans in a digital world. No. So you do actually have to see
He can't
Jared
be
Leto's
a ghost
face.
with a top hat.
No.
Okay.
And other quick tidbits. Danielle Brooks, Coleman Domingo, and Divine Joy Randolph have all been nominated for Oscars and their very first Oscars.
Yes, they're all first-time nominees. So Danielle Brooks got it for Color Purple. Coleman Domingo got it for Rustin. And Divine Joy Randolph got it for The Holdovers.
Yes, which is actually, I'm planning to watch that this Saturday.
Yes, it's on Amazon?
I believe so.
Okay. I need to watch that.
It's on digital, so you should be able to watch it.
She's been cleaning up platforms. On awards.
Yeah, Divine has been collecting them
all. So let it just be known that if a black actor or actress start winning awards for a movie I haven't seen, I'm about to start watching it.
Yeah.
Because she's won like multiple just for this one movie.
Yeah.
So go check out The Holdovers. I haven't seen it yet, but I bet you it's good.
Love The Color Purple, though.
Love Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple.
She was great.
Super good. I have not seen Rustin yet, but Coleman Domingo was also great in The Color Purple as Mr. So, I mean, we already knew he could act. Yeah. So, not surprising.
We're also going to see more of Coleman Domingo. And our next quick bit, which is Coleman Domingo has been casted as Joe Jackson for the Michael Jackson biopic. And it's funny because when I saw this, I texted you. I was like, so is he going to start playing all of our like abusers?
Listen, he's a great actor.
He's a great actor.
I started laughing because I'm trying to imagine Coleman Domingo in a Joe Jackson hairdo.
It's a Jerry curl.
My visual is like hilarious.
It's Mr. with a Jerry curl.
I can see it. It's like I can see it and it's funny to me.
Yeah, it's just Mr. with a mustache.
Right. Not in like a goofy, funny way, but like this is wild because I can see it like physically in my brain. So that'll be interesting.
Somebody brought up the great point on Twitter if they're going to cast Angela Bassett to come back. Because she
played the mom.
She played the mom, and I think she's a good Coleman Domingo contemporary.
That would be crazy.
And
then I would have to see it.
It's been long enough, so you can definitely just bring her back to the same role.
And she looked. And
who do you pick to play a character Angela Bassett has previously played and expect it to be?
I don't know.
Like
tough shoes. Tough shoes
any
to
better
fill
than Angela Bassett.
I would have to see it in that case because I was on the fence, and now I'm like, you're gonna get Coleman and if they got Coleman and Angela, I'd be like, I got to.
And
I don't have a choice.
Angela Bassett puts butts in seats.
She does.
Angela Bassett is now an Oscar awarded actress.
Yes.
So now you have Oscar nominated, maybe Oscar award winning actor Coleman Domingo against Oscar awarded Angela Bassett. So
if they put them two in, I don't have a choice.
Just don't flop on the casting. Just do it.
Go see
just
it.
do it. And she would do it.
She probably would.
So yeah.
I would love to see her in that.
But he's also going to be playing Nat King Cole and the Nat King Cole biopic. But I think he's also directing it.
He is also directing it.
Yeah.
So this sounded like it was something that had been in the works for a while, or something that he kind of had as on his project list for a while. But this just came out today as we're recording that he will be Nat King Cole. And once again, I can see it. Is he gonna sing? He probably is, because he didn't sing in The Color Purple.
Do you think Michael? He didn't. But do you think it's gonna be a musical?
Oh, he has to. I mean, he's playing Nat King Cole, so he got to bust a couple tunes. Or they can have somebody else do the singing. They could do that too. They can have somebody else do the singing parts of the movie, but there has to be music in it.
The guy playing Bob Marley, is he doing the singing? Or is that like, do you think that's like
dubbed somebody else? I don't know. You know, in a trailer, it does. That is a very good question. I don't know.
Coleman Domingo is good at playing menacing characters, so I think he's going to do good as Joe Jackson.
Yeah.
Before Mr., he was very unsettling in Candyman.
Yeah, you're right.
So
you're right.
Yeah.
This about to be his year. I mean, he's kind of always been in the spotlight, and I think it's just cranked it up quite a bit. I think
it's his career is definitely taken off very quickly, very fast, to already be directing. Already have your directorial debut after probably just being like in just a handful of like box office hits.
Oh yeah.
And to be doing such a big biopic.
So I don't think he playing Kane because he ain't got no time.
No, he doesn't have the time. And at this point, when you're doing your directorial debut,
you could still be in Marvel.
You could, but
you probably you would be doing them the favor at that point.
Yeah.
Not vice versa. But I was like, yeah, he don't have time for this. So
find somebody else.
Right. The search continues, or maybe it's ended and we just don't know yet. We'll see. Okay.
on to trailers. We have one trailer this week, and that is for Avatar: The Last Airbender Netflix series.
We talked about this quite a few episodes ago because they had just released pictures of the show. I'm gonna be honest and say it looks great. So visually, it looks great, but it looks a little, and it's probably supposed to. It looks very childlike.
Well, because they're all kids,
but
it's very Percy Jackson-esque.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
People who are fans of Percy Jackson were fans of it because they were kids, and the fan base is mostly just adults now.
Okay,
nobody now young person watches Percy Jackson.
I say the most that I've heard about it. What I've heard about it is good, but it seemed like it's been
and just
adults.
Like no current young person watches Avatar, especially since it's been off and it's so old and it's had so many spinoffs at this point.
Okay.
I feel like Avatar came out in 2004.
I wouldn't know, but we talked about it being like it's been done a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
There was the movie,
oof.
Right? Which every time somebody mentions that movie, oof is the sound that comes after it. There was the movie, and this is supposed to be like erasing people's palettes of what that movie was.
Yeah. So this is going straight to Netflix. It is being directed. Well, it's being developed by Albert Kim. I think it's going to be one of those shows that have different directors per episode.
Okay.
So it's not going to be directed by the same person all the way through. But this is also the Avatar show by Netflix that was so hectic in production. The original creators who created Avatar said, "This is bad. We're leaving." So
I think everybody's probably on pins and needles to see how this turns out, knowing that the creators pieced out.
Well, and the creators pieced out to do this somewhere else.
Right. So they still have their things.
There's still another Avatar show coming out under Paramount.
Yeah, I think so.
So we're going to get...
probably right.
So this is kind of like the DC thing.
But this is two different studios. This ain't even like... this not even in-house.
So you have two different studios who are making the same IP differently.
Well, it'll be good for discussion.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe not.
I don't know. You know what, though? Netflix really burned me with Cowboy Bebop and their lack of commitment to it. And Cowboy Bebop looked amazing.
Netflix is notorious for letting you get attached or just getting your interest into a series and then canceling the second season and it never coming back.
Cowboy Bebop had some issues, but I still think you should watch it, even though you refuse to watch it. Because you've seen Cowboy Bebop, so it's not like it's gonna leave you with like, oh well, what happens next? Because you've seen Cowboy Bebop.
But the things that could have happened.
But the way the live action was made and the CGI and the acting, I think it was really good.
Okay.
So I think you would still like it.
I like the actress that was gonna play. I can't think of her name right now. The main female character.
Oh, she's from Jurassic World.
Ah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Cowboy Bebop, the live action was really good.
They axed it. Didn't even give it a chance.
Didn't even give it a chance.
Crazy.
Like Netflix does a lot of things. The only thing they renew is Stranger Things and Squid Game, the reality show.
And the original. I think the
original
is getting a second season.
But I don't know. I feel like this is going to come out. It's not going to get high viewership and then they're going to cancel it. And then it's going to come out again under Paramount. Under the original creators, and it's not gonna get high viewership, and they're gonna cancel it because nobody uses Paramount Plus.
I was gonna say is the fan base gonna be divided of where they watch which one?
I don't even know if the fan base is that strong anymore. Because, like I said, people who are fans of Avatar are like adults now.
Interesting, because they definitely have poured a lot of money into this Netflix one because it looks good visually. It looks good.
I don't know.
I just watched the trailer and was like, yeah, I don't think this is gonna be for me, but it looks great. Beautiful
it looks
gowns.
really good. Yeah.
Beautiful gowns.
It's got the same type of CGI as Mortal Kombat. And the same type of action. Like they fight the exact same.
Right. But it's very power of friendship.
It is that because that's Avatar.
Ever since you said that, I was like, this is giving me power of friendship.
It's very don't kill the bad guy, turn the bad guy to your side. And, I don't know.
Chop that man head off.
I don't know if that makes me a bad person, but I believe in killing the villain.
Right. Namor. Kill him.
Yeah. So
we'll see. I don't know. Will you check it out? Are you gonna watch it? Are you gonna tune in?
I'm not gonna commit because I always say I'll give it the first episode and then
it come and go.
And then it comes.
Nobody
and goes.
talks about it.
Nobody talks about it.
I forgot about that show.
I said I was gonna watch the first episode of Percy Jackson. I didn't.
Oh,
and then
I've seen some reviews.
Neither has anybody else.
Yeah, I've seen some reviews that say it's good, but like you said, I don't know what the audience is.
Because if I'm only person watching something, that means it's gonna get canceled, I don't want to get attached to it.
That's bad because if everybody thinks that, nobody's gonna watch anything.
That's true. Yeah.
But it's the streamers' fault. They should stop canceling stuff that we try to watch.
Yeah.
All right. So that is it for our news. We're gonna take a short break and get into our review for American Fiction.
Okay.
This week we saw American Fiction. Finally, guys, we saw it. I have been trying to see this movie since this was one of my most anticipated for 2023. If that tells you how, I know it's only January, but that's how long I've been waiting to see it. It was released in theaters December 15th, but it was a very limited release. They rolled this out like slow cooked pork because it was like in a couple theaters and then a couple more theaters and then a couple more theaters. And I think just this past weekend when we saw it, it was like wide release. So check your local listings because hopefully it's where you are now. But this has been out quote unquote for a little bit because it did premiere at the Toronto Film Festival back in September where it won the People's Choice Awards. And since this movie has been out for a while, we already have a digital release date. It will be on digital platforms February 6th.
Oh, nice.
Which is in like a week or so. So
it's like 3 days before Final Fantasy VII Part 2 comes out.
My God, I need to finish. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, getting distracted. So if it's not playing in your local theater, just give it a few days. It'll be available for digital. It is directed, the director and the screenplay is by Cord Jefferson. This is his directorial debut. I almost slipped up there. This is his first movie, y'all. And the cast is, actually put the wiki here because the cast is extensive but good. It stars Jeffrey Wright as Thelonious Monk Ellison, Tracy Ellis Ross as Lisa Ellison. Is that Ellison?
Yes.
Yes, Ellison. Okay. Issa Rae as Centaria Golden. Sterling K. Brown is Cliff Ellison, John Ortiz's author. Erica Alexander is Caroline.
Coraline.
You're right. Coraline. Leslie Inghams is Agnes Ellison. Adam Brody is Wiley. Now, you noticed him, and I did not. But and other people pointed him out. And I was like, where is he from?
He's like one of those actors that was like on the CW when it first.
Oh, he's from the OC. That explains it.
Yeah, which was like, well, no, that wasn't CW, that was Fox. But he's like one of those young actors.
He's been around for a while, though.
Dawson's Creek-esque.
Gotcha.
He's just been around forever.
Okay. Keith David, I didn't know Keith David was in this.
He's also from like your favorite superhero franchise.
Oh, so this would be my least favorite. Let me think of my least favorite superhero franchise. He's in Rebel Moon. That's not superheroes.
No.
What's my favorite superhero franchise?
Shazam.
Oh God, I hate that movie so much.
He plays the superhero souped up version of the little brother with MS.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, good luck to him. Keith David was in this. Did not know that. And then who else is in here? Those are all the most notable people that are in here. Let me go back to my review here. Runtime is 1 hour and 57 minutes. So nice, quick, and to the point. Budget unknown. Amazon. So this is by MGM Studios, which is now owned by Amazon, and they didn't want to let us know. So we don't know. Box office is 8.1 million. Now you might be like, oof, that sounds low. But this is a more limited, I don't want to call it, it's not independent because it's owned by Amazon, but it was a slow rollout, smaller film. So 8.1 million is probably cool for this.
Yeah.
And since the rollout was so slow, it doesn't have a cinema score. I looked it up. Cinema score said We don't know when y'all releasing this, so we're not going to check for it.
Right.
But the Rotten Tomato scores, critics was a 93, audience was a 96. So if that is a preview to how we feel about this movie, it is.
There is a post track, which I guess post track does a score if Cinema Score does not.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they don't base it off of a grade. They based it off of would you recommend.
Oh.
It says that audiences polled by post track gave the film a 90% positive score, with 83% of people saying they would recommend it.
Oh, I like it.
So I guess that's an alternative audience perspective.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to, because some of these movies are either skipping film or skipping theatrical and going straight to streaming, so there won't be a cinema score.
Yeah, a lot of the movies there were a lot of limited releases,
or it's limited and cinema score says never mind.
Yeah,
we don't know when we gonna catch this.
Yeah.
So they don't bother going to the movies to ask. Other fun facts that I put for here: this is actually based off a 2001 novel called Erasure by Percival Everett. It has been nominated for 5 Oscars. Jeffrey Wright got one for Best Actor. Sterling K. Brown has one for Supporting Actor. It also has a Best Picture and also a Best Adapted Screenplay, because adapted means that this was from a already existing source material.
Yes.
So it's got an Oscar nomination for that. And it also has a Oscar nomination for original score, which is funny because when we were leaving the movies, I was like, man, even the music was good.
Yeah, music was good.
And voila, it's got an Oscar for that.
Yeah.
It also has, and I just saw this on Erica Alexander's Instagram because I follow her on there, 9 NAACP awards.
Yeah, the NAACP award nominations just came out today.
Yes, like literally right before we started recording.
On Thursday.
It has 7. So it has Outstanding Motion Picture, Outstanding Ensemble Cast, Outstanding Actor, Outstanding Writing, Outstanding Score, Supporting Actor, and Supporting Actress. So literally everybody else I just named, including Erica Alexander. She got one for Supporting Actress in this.
Nice.
All right. So do you want to summarize the plot? I'm going to let you do it this time. No spoilers. So we'll do non-spoiler review and then we'll get into spoilers.
Sure. So the plot is about Jeffrey Wright, who plays Monk, is a struggling writer. He's a professor, but he's a struggling writer because he can't land himself a book deal.
Yep.
He is struggling because he prefers to write prestigious novels.
Yeah. non-black or there's no race, no gender. Yes. No race. I'm not gender. There's no race.
Raceless.
There we go.
Prestigious novels.
You're bougie. You're bougie.
Those aren't selling in a world that really just wants to hear from the black perspective. Black novels from the black perspective. That's what's in demand. So he changes his writing style.
Yeah.
To pander.
Yes, right. Yeah, you're right.
To the black perspective.
Or pander to the white
to pander people. To the white man, the black perspective. Their version of what they think the black perspective is. As a joke.
Yes.
And it turns out to be a hit.
Blockbuster for books.
And he has to decide whether or not he's going to go through with it. And why or why not.
Yeah, that's good. You did good.
Thanks.
Clap. So that is the synopsis of the movie without spoiling it, without giving too much away. I don't think it's a spoiler to say this is also heavily focused on family. Which I don't.
So I don't think that's a spoiler, but that was not advertised.
This not.
This is a very This Is Us style family drama.
Yes. It's giving dang, I almost had it on. It's not soul food-esque level of family drama in a sense, which is not depicted in a trailer. So when we got to those parts, I was like, oh, I didn't even know we was getting down in the weeds like this. So it does have that. It's not all about him and his book deal. It is also very much about his family, which I loved. Let's talk about who we liked and who we didn't like as far as actors and actresses.
Okay, so I liked everyone.
Yeah, I was going to say.
There wasn't a single person I didn't like. I even loved the stereotypical white people.
Yep, they did good. They did good.
They were good. I felt like the conversations they had with the white people who kind of like... the conversations they had with the white people were conversations that I've had with white people.
They were very real. They were put it that way.
They were very real.
Mm-hmm.
If you're black or of any other race that is not
person
white,
of color,
and you've had a conversation with a white person about your culture, and for you, the very mundane details of your culture that aren't special because they're just
how
part
you
of
live,
how your existence, and the white people are reacting like you're explaining a documentary from National Geographic to them, like
right.
Their perspective,
what?
Like the unique perspective that you're offering is like otherworldly because they just can't fathom this type of experience.
That's real. Oh my God, I heard about this from my third best friend's friend.
Yeah,
type of situation.
Exactly. Like if you ever grew up like in the hood or hood adjacent, and you told like a white person a story about your childhood,
right? And you just talking. You're
just talking about how you used to lace up your shoes and ride the school bus, and they're like, in the wild, ride the school bus
outside.
Oh
my goodness!
And were you scared?
That's
like,
crazy.
Were
there gangbangers on the corner?
Yeah, exactly.
Did they cherish you and take you in?
You walked to the stop. You didn't get a ride. Like it's kind. I mean, we're exaggerating, but we've had those conversations with people like that before. It was very real.
Yeah.
So I liked all the characters.
I also liked everybody.
My favorites, though.
Yeah.
I guess would be Coraline.
Okay. Who's played by Erica Alexander.
Who was played by Erica Alexander, and Lorraine.
Yeah.
Who was the caretaker of their mom.
Right.
Who was played by Myra Lucretia Taylor.
Yep, I did not name her, but she is
she's a Tony Awards nominated for Best Actress in a musical for her performance as Grand Georgiana in the Broadway musical Tina.
Oh, she was goodness.
She was very, very good in this.
Favorites is hard. Now,
but also, I mean,
what?
Sterling K. Brown was amazing.
I was literally about to say
he was amazing in this.
Everybody was so good. Sterling K. Brown was, even Jeffrey Wright, like we'll get into it in spoiler. Like his character is a particular way, but even he played that character so well. But Sterling K. Brown, like I see why him and Jeffrey Wright are nominated. It's obvious.
I'm the younger sibling. So I've never had younger siblings. But I have, but we come from a big family. So we have uncles and aunts who are the younger siblings.
Yes.
So if you've ever had a bad younger brother that stayed bad all the way into adulthood and just never stopped being bad, that was Sterling K. Brown. He was like the younger brother that got older, but
mentally didn't get
never
older.
Grew up.
Yes.
Like he was still always doing the wrong thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you have Tracy Ellis Ross and Jeffrey Wright, who the older siblings, and they very much like, I guess Tracy Ellis Ross would have been the oldest of the three.
I think so.
So Jeffrey Wright, Tracy Ellis Ross, and Sterling K. Brown are brother and sister. They're the three kids of the family. Tracy Ellis Ross has that older, like, I had to take care of everything because y'all two dudes, the younger kids, y'all just was able to leave town. And she's kind of have that, like, I'm exhausted, y'all.
And it was almost a little bit of the women are raised to be the caretakers thing. Where it's even daughters are trained to be mothers in their adolescence.
Yeah, she said, I had to stay behind and take care of mine while y'all got to leave.
Yeah.
So she was good. Jeffrey was good. Sterling K. Brown was amazing. I see why both of them are nominated for Oscars. Erica Alexander was great.
Amazing.
If you don't know who Erica Alexander is, shame on you, but she is Maxine Shaw, attorney at law. That's what she's most famous for. She's been in a bunch of other stuff. From the best show that's probably ever been created, Living Single.
Yes.
I need to get that on DVD, by the way. Is it available? It should be. I'm going to look.
You have the first season somewhere.
I do.
Because they only released the first season physical at some time.
I need to go find it.
If we need to sell the piracies to get the Living Single physical, it's worth it.
Somebody got it. I don't even care if it's I don't care if it's dubbed in English. I'm going to get it. Who else was good in this? John Ortiz as Thelonious Monk's book editor? Or his publisher.
Yeah,
okay.
Publisher.
He was good. Leslie, the mom, she was good.
Yeah.
My favorite would probably be, it's in between Sterling K. Brown and Erica Alexander. So in between Clifford and Coraline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's hard. It's kind of like Color Purple. I'm like in between two.
They're really good.
As far as least favorite, nobody. Literally, like you said, even the people playing the stereotypical outlandish white people, they did good.
Yeah.
even they did good. And what I appreciated about this movie is that it wasn't cringy. Like the white characters in this movie play that cringy role, but it's like actual conversations that happen. So it didn't come off like y'all trying to be cringy just to be funny.
It was like ripped from real life experiences.
Headlines of life, literally. So there was no bad acting in any of this.
Like there weren't any like scenes that were like exaggerated or anything.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Nothing was overly exaggerated. It was just like, yeah, this is really how this happens. This is really. Let me look at my notes, see if I have anything else non-spoilery to say. Like I already mentioned, but the score was really good. The music in this, excellent. It stands out as they kind of switch scenes, so that was good. You got
a note? I have a couple.
I don't have any. Oh, I like that all the kids, and by kids I mean Sterling, Jeffrey, and Tracy Ellis Ross were doctors. So in this, they're all
different
doctors.
Types of doctors. Yeah,
I like that because you don't get that often in a movie.
Jeffrey Wright was a doctor of education.
Yes.
Sterling K. Brown was a plastic surgeon.
Yep.
And Tracy Ellis Ross, I think, was an OB.
I think she was an OBGYN.
Yeah.
Yep. She worked in it looked like she worked in a clinic of some sort.
And that played a factor into the fact that they were doctors.
Yeah.
And Sterling K. Brown was like a writing doctor.
Or Jeffrey Wright was
Jeffrey
the
Wright. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
Ellis were like actual doctors, and they kept bringing it up. How like, oh yeah, you're a doctor.
Right. I think there was one line where somebody was like, I can't remember, but Sterling K. Brown made a joke.
There was I know what you're talking about when Sterling K. Brown over sedated Lorraine.
Yes.
And Jeffrey Wright asked him if he gave him too much, and Sterling K. Brown said, "We'll consult you. We need to revive a sentence."
Yes. Yes. And there was another scene where Tracy Ellis Ross's character asked, she was like, "You're smart. You're a doctor." And he was like, "I'm not that kind." He was like, "I'm not that kind." And she was like, "But you're at least a doctor."
Yeah, she was like, "You're at least intelligent."
Yeah, there she said, yeah, she was like, "You're a doctor, so you at least can think with your brain." Anything else pre-spoiler we want to say?
A pre-spoiler note I had is that 2 notes. I liked the family dynamic. It was very realistic, and it was very refreshing seeing a older sibling relationship where all of the siblings are adults.
Yes, absolutely.
Adult siblings have different type of conversations than like young adults.
20s,
like they weren't like early 20s or teenager siblings.
Yeah.
These are adult siblings who have like real conversations about caretaking and
life
and being
relationships
responsible for being like they were talking about their relationships like with their marriages and
the parents.
Yeah, but they were still like siblings and they were still like teasing each other, but they were adults. It was very refreshing.
They did good playing siblings.
Yeah, and I believe that they were siblings.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
You said you had another note, pre-spoiler note?
Those were my 2.
Okay.
The family dynamic so to elaborate on the family dynamic, I really like the fact that they got on each other's nerves, but they still liked each other and they still got along. Like they were irritated by each other.
Very irritated.
But they were never angry.
They were never nasty towards each other.
Never nasty, and they always like ended a tense conversation with bringing it back to like a funny moment to remind each other that you get on my nerves, but I love you.
I can't stand you, but I love you.
Right,
type
exactly.
of situation. Yes.
And even there was a scene where they're clearly Sterling K. Brown and Jeffrey Wright butt heads because it's an older brother versus younger brother dynamic. But there was a scene where they had an encounter with the white person who wasn't minding his business. And they still backed each other up in that moment.
Yes.
Because against the opposition, they knew brothers.
They knew. Yeah. They had that connection, not only that black connection, but that sibling connection. Like he about to start some stuff.
Right.
And they, it was a tense moment. They was going through some things, but they still had each other's back.
Yeah.
That was good.
So that was my last non-spoiler note.
All right. So we're going to get into spoilers about this in 3, 2, 1. I did not see. So I guess to give we'll just talk about it like we normally talk about all the movies. So in the beginning of this movie, Jeffrey Wright is having a hard time selling his book. He lashes out at one of his students in one of his classes, and I guess he's been doing this quite a bit. So his job, his school, sends him on leave. I don't know if I think it's like unpaid leave. He basically gets suspended, I think, for a little bit, is what they seem like. So he goes back home to Boston, where his family is. And Tracy Ellis Ross is the first sibling that we see. She picks him up. They go kind of have dinner with their mom. And then one of the first things that's kind of revealed is that the mom might be losing some of her memory. So Tracy Ellis Ross character is kind of like, y'all left. I'm the older sibling. I have to take care of everything. Y'all don't. Jeffrey Wright being I guess he's the middle child. He kind of left and like didn't really come back. So he doesn't come home very often. He's not in tune what's going on with the family. But while they are at dinner, Tracy Ellis Ross and Jeffrey Wright is just their two characters at dinner. She has a heart attack.
Yeah.
And dies.
And kicks it.
In, I don't know, first 15
minutes
20
of
minutes of the movie.
And I was like, it's going to be about the three siblings.
Excuse me?
And she literally dies. Even before we get Sterling K. Brown.
I was just, cause she, they're like laughing at something. And she kind of, at first it looks like she's just kind of laughing. But then you realize that she's like, grabbing her chest and stuff. And she dies.
Yeah.
And I was just took me aback. Like, is Tracy Ellis Ross not in the rest of this movie?
Yeah.
And she's not.
So he goes home. He gets put on administrative leave.
Yes.
From work because he's been bad to his students. And he ends up only going home because his job advises him to participate in a book festival.
Oh,
so he's only in town to visit. But because Tracy Ellis Ross is the primary caretaker of their mom and she dies.
Yep.
He ends up having to stay in Boston and take care of the mom.
You're right. So, and that's why I was like, even though this movie is about like the book and him faking it and all that, it is also very much about him having to go home and take care of his mom and, be reintegrated back into his family because his sister dies unexpectedly. So that was it was almost like a good surprise, but they did a great job of balancing, like...
That's when it turned into soul food a little bit.
In a good way, though.
Yeah.
In a good way. So while we have this family plot line going on the side, there's also the fact that he ain't selling no books. He needs the money, though. Like, he needs money because he's not selling no books. And he's also on leave from his job, so he even more so needs the money. And we kind of get more into his, like, the mom is actually, I think they said it's Alzheimer's.
She's early stage Alzheimer's.
She has early stage Alzheimer's. So now he has to have money to take care of her because Lorraine, who is kind of like the family, seems like she's been in the family forever. The family caretaker is not equipped to take care of the mother with Alzheimer's. Like, she just, she needs full-time, she needs like full, right. She needs full-time medical care. So Jeffrey Wright, being frustrated, he runs into Issa Rae's character's book reading, and her character is the author who's come out with this most outlandish ghetto hood.
The title.
What is the name of the title again?
The title is We Lives in the Ghetto.
We Lives in the Ghetto. And the book sounds...
by best-selling author.
Right. So she's doing like amazing with this book. And it's literally like garbage.
Yeah.
It sounds like garbage. It reads like garbage. But it's giving the white people that like hood experience that they trying to get a connection to. So Jeffrey Wright's pissed. He annoyed. And he comes up with this idea to pen a book very similar to hers. But he calls it, I can't even remember what he calls it because it ends up getting changed in the middle of the movie. But it's equally garbage. Like, it's very much about, like...
It's called My Pathology.
Yeah, but
it's spelled Pathology.
It sounds bad. But anyway, he writes the book and he takes it to Arthur, who's his publisher. And he's like, I'm not selling this crap. And he's like, just do it. Do it anyway. Because he's frustrated. He's mad. Come to find out, white people love it. The book companies love it. They want to buy this. Now, he does this under a pen name. So people don't know that it's him. So he ends up, as the movie is progressing, We got one plot line of him selling this book blowing up, and him being successful, but nobody knowing it's him. And we also have the plot line of him trying to take care of his mom, meeting a new lady, which is Coraline, played by Erica Alexander, and the relationship with his mom, relationship with his brother, old family things coming back up at the same time. And that's what I liked about the movie, is that we literally have two plot lines and somehow it still works. Like the writing is super tight. It flows all together.
Yeah. So, a couple things. So he is recommended by Arthur.
Yes.
To check out Issa Rae's character, Centaur Golden's book reading.
Right.
Because she has written this book, We Lives in the Ghetto, and it's like award-winning.
Bestseller.
And basically, Issa Rae's character, it took me a while to realize. I realized it while I was watching it, but it took me a while to realize she's basically like Sister Soldier.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, if you know
amped up, probably.
Amped up. I don't think Sister Soldier ever wrote a bestseller. But
I think Coldest Winter Ever is probably a bestseller.
You think so?
I didn't.
So if you don't know who Sister Soldier is, think of like Coldest Winter Ever.
I'm probably gonna get my
love story,
my black card revoked, but I've never read that book. Yeah, I know. People are like, oh, no, I haven't.
I've never read it, but I've never had to read it because literally so many people in my middle school class
I know what
should
happens.
not have been reading it.
I know what happens.
Should not have had access to the book.
Right.
Read so much of it and discussed it so much.
Yeah.
So it's basically just like it's a black ghetto book.
Yeah.
About people who are probably teenagers.
We're gonna get some hate mail about this.
Having lots of sex and living in the hood.
Right. Yes.
And that's just what the book is about.
That's what Issa Rae's character's book is about.
And that's what Issa Rae's character's book is about. It's like she's like this movie's version of Sister Soldier. And it sells so much because it tells a unique, they use the same words. Raw, real. Unfiltered, and unique perspective on the black experience. Which,
that people need. Apparently people need this. I don't know who, but people.
White people crave is what they said.
Yeah.
They're craving this perspective into the black experience. So she feeds to it, and her character even says, like in the movie, her character says, I saw a lane where I could make a lot of money because this is what white people were looking for,
and I stayed in it.
I pandered to it because that's where the money was,
and she made the money,
and she was fine with that.
Yeah,
and she made the money doing it. So Jeffrey Wright decides to follow in her footsteps and do the same thing. And he uses a pen name, Stag R. Lee,
which people seem to had laughed at that in the theater, and I didn't get why they laughed.
But I had to look it up. So basically, Stag R. Lee was a pen name that was used by Lee Shelton, who is an African American pimp who lived in St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh.
He used the pen name to make a popular folk song, which is called it's called Stackolee Blues.
Okay.
Basically, he was a pimp.
Okay.
And he used a pen name to make music.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Somebody like legit laughed when he said what his pen name was, and I was like, I'm missing it, and I don't know what I'm missing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. Funny. That's funny.
He was a criminal who became a public figure of folklore after murdering Billy Lyons on December 25th of 1985.
Well, this fits because Jeffrey Wright's character Monk, pretty much his pen name that he makes up is a fugitive. The whole movie. He's like, he can't reveal his face, which is how he is able to continue this lie through the whole movie and do interviews without showing his face because he's quote unquote a fugitive from the FBI.
Yeah. And Lee Shelton was a convicted murderer.
Oh, that would all make sense.
And in the movie, he says his pen name, Stag R. Lee, the character he made up, is a murderer on the run.
Yes.
That's why he uses the pen name. And when he does interviews, he never shows his face. Well, one, because he doesn't reveal himself, but two, because he's apparently a murderer who's on the run.
Yeah. Okay. The Stag R. Lee connection now makes sense because I didn't get it at first.
So I really liked Issa Rae's character just because she was ridiculous, but she was committed to it, and she just did not seem to see
She doubled down.
how ridiculous she was.
Right.
Like she didn't see that part.
Because towards the end of the movie, so Jeffrey Wright's character Monk he becomes a judge in a book award. And
as Monk, who he actually is.
Yes, as his actual self. And his book by Staggar Lee, which has now been changed to the F word.
Yeah, he changed it to the F word to try to get the white people to drop it,
and
not want to release it, But they liked it even more because now it was even more real aggressive. And raw and unfiltered, Yeah.
It gets submitted into the contenders that they have to judge on. So he is trying to. His character and Issa Rae character both agree that the book is pandering. They're like. And Jeffrey Wright's like, this is like, I wrote this and I know it's stupid. And she's like, she doesn't know. Nobody knows that it's him. And she's like, yeah, it feels like it's pandering and, you know, this is not a good book or whatever. So he finally goes to her. They're like sitting down eating lunch. And he's like, well, why don't you like the book? She's like, oh, it's pandering and it's trash. It's trying to sell, like, you know, it just comes off real fake. And he was like, well, what's different between this book and your book? And she gets real offended. Yeah. Because she's like, what are you trying to call my book trash? And he's like, well, I mean, but she doubles down and is like, my book is from the actual Black experience. Like, I interviewed people and this is what people want to hear.
She's like, I got real accounts from people who live in the communities, and I did real interviews and research and to make We Lives in the Ghetto.
Right, because she is actually not from the hood. She went to like a prestigious school.
And her book is basically about TT Kwekwe and Shay Shay trying to figure out
getting pregnant again.
How she got pregnant again and what she gonna do about the baby. But she's like, I did research to this.
So it's funny because her character's like, I don't see the difference in our books. Like, my book is like real and raw and unfiltered and what people want.
And yours is clearly fake.
Right.
And they're the same book.
They're literally the same book. But she has a good point where she's like, I saw a lane and I catered to it. Like, it sounds like you have a problem because the lane you want to be in, don't nobody care about. Essentially is what she says.
And they both had good points.
Yes.
I think his points were a little stronger only because she could not see how her book was the exact same as his book. Like, her book wasn't good. And I think that was on purpose. She was supposed to not think that her book was terrible.
Right.
But his point about he made a good point about her book being the same as his. It's pandering and it only shows one side of the Black experience. But the thing about the Black experience, the thing about people's perspective on the Black experience is if you show one negative side of the Black experience, people assume that is the entire thing.
For every Black person.
Right. But if you show one side of any other type of race, nobody assumes that's everybody in that race. And her point was, he was saying how everybody in every race has so much potential. And her point was really good when she was like, well, people who use the word potential use that word because they don't think what's sitting in front of them is enough. And she was basically saying how you keep saying that Black people have so much potential, but the reason you're saying that is because you clearly aren't satisfied with what you see in Black people.
Right. And the thing that we didn't mention in the very beginning of the film, Jeffrey Wright's characters, and I keep saying Jeffrey Wright's character, Monk, I'm just going to call him Monk because that's what they call him in the movie. He says he doesn't care about race.
Yeah, he doesn't see race.
He doesn't see race. Like, his character, you know, he's so upset that his book keeps getting put in the Black section of sections of bookstores because he's a Black author. But he's like, I don't make Black books. I just make books and I don't see race. And as he's saying this in the movie, Monk is trying to wave down a cab and the cab drives by him and picks up the white person that's in front of him. And it's like, dude, you are literally living.
Race is literally looking you dead in the face
and passing you by to pick up the white man. Like, it's literally happening. So the fact that his character kind of had to have like an awakening of, it was interesting that his character at the beginning said he didn't see race, but at the end when he's arguing with Issa Rae, he's like, these books are putting us in a bad light because that's all that people see when they read these books versus other books by white people, whether it's a Western or it's a murder mystery or it's a whatever, you know, they know that those people aren't a monolith. But when they read these books about us, every black person is, we live in the ghetto.
We lives in the ghetto, yeah.
Right. So that they both had a good point, and that's why the writing in this movie is so good, because they have two characters on the opposite sides of thinking, both making good points. And that
there
don't
is
happen.
no resolution.
Right. There's no villain, essentially.
Yeah.
Really. It's just kind of like she got her lane, he got his lane, and they both making good points here.
Yeah.
I loved it.
The issue is that he's mad that his pandering was successful.
Right.
And she's not, because that was her intent. Her intent was to pander to make money, because she said, Issa Rae's character says that she worked on like the first level of a major book publishing company where it was her job to read all the incoming books and send them up depending on the quality. And she said that she would read a lot of good books that were like monk style books that were written by black people that she would pass up and they wouldn't do anything with. And she was like, the only books that ended up being successful that were written by black people were the ones that kind of like played to like the lowest common denominator of the community. Right. And she was like, but that's real. Yeah. So there are people like this that exist.
So they should have their voices heard. So they should have
their voices heard too. And he was like,
she made good points.
They should have their voices heard, but they think that that's all of us. And she was like, okay, who cares? Right.
I'm about this money.
Yeah.
Basically. So that going along the lines was good. And there's also, so if we jump back to the family side, Monk is also a bit of a jerk. Not a bit of a jerk. He's a jerk.
So their dad is dead.
Their dad is dead in the movie, and we never see Dad.
No.
I think he might be in a picture.
He died I think he might have died when they were like much younger.
Yeah, they don't really put a time on it, but you do know that Dad is gone.
Yeah, so Dad killed himself, which we don't know.
We don't know that.
That's how we're introduced to Coraline, Erica Alexander's character, because after Tracy Ellis Ross dies, they go to their beach home to spread her ashes. Yep. So two things happen. So they go to the beach home to spread Tracy Ellis Ross's ashes. Well, her character, not actual Tracy Ellis Ross. And they're having a beach ceremony.
Lisa.
Yes. But while they're putting her ashes in the ocean, a random white guy that's one of their neighbors to their beach house is walking by while they're having a private funeral.
Yeah. I mean, they obviously are out there doing something because they all in like black and white.
Yeah. And Monk is dumping her ashes out of the urn into the ocean. And, you just got a white guy who doesn't mind his business, who sees black people doing something that
don't involve him.
That is private to them.
Right.
And he stops to ask them what they're doing.
Right.
And he's like, are you dumping ashes into the ocean? Do you have a permit for that? So they threaten to beat him up to get him to go away because he's not minding his business. And the only way you can get him to mind his business
is
to threaten his life. That's the only way you can get people to mind their business.
Right.
Is to threaten their life.
Probably one of the funniest scenes of the movie.
So it was hilarious. But after the funeral, Erica Alexander's character Lisa lives across the street, and she introduces herself to Monk. And she mentions how they haven't been back to the beach house in decades. She thought it was vacant.
Yep.
She thought it was vacant. And she was like, yeah, I heard a spooky ghost story about how the guy in there went cuckoo and blew his brains out. And Monk goes, yeah, that was our dad.
Yeah, he just looks, and she's like,
at her.
Oh, was that your dad?
Yeah.
He's like, so that's how you find out in the movie that the dad passed away because he killed himself.
Yeah. And that was you mentioned that was really good writing because they didn't show us and they didn't really tell us. They kind of just
let the facial, just let the facial natural flow of conversation reveal that the father of this family that we following killed himself.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, oh, there were a lot of moments in this movie where you were like, oh,
yeah,
dang, oh my goodness. Or, there were either heartfelt moments or like dang moments.
Yeah.
All mixed into comedy.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't a comedy. I wouldn't even call this a dramedy.
It was kind of like life is funny in that way.
Yes. Yeah. It was just very much like real life situations that are just ironic and funny.
It was like dark, awkward.
Yeah.
Comedy,
just kind of like, you doing, like, for example, Sterling K. Brown's character Cliff, the brother that you said just don't ever grow up and get it together. He is a mess.
He's a mess.
He's a plastic surgeon. He's on coke. And his wife leaves him because she finds him in the bed with a man. So he's like, I'm gay and I've been gay. And my wife left me and took the kids. So
and the kids hate me.
And the kids hate him. And he's falling apart. He looks great, but he's falling apart, and
he's got bare naked dudes running around the house.
Yes,
while he does cocaine off the countertop.
He forgets. So Lorraine, who's the family maid, or I don't call her a maid. She's like the family caretaker. She gets married to one of the other characters, who's also Maynard.
I think he's like Coast Guard.
Yeah, he's kind of like the town. We'll call him.
He like monitors the neighborhood.
Yeah. He's
security,
like he's neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
We'll call him neighborhood watch. But he obviously has a thing for Lorraine, and they don't really show us like the timeline of the movie. Like there's no like dates, but you can tell time is moving. So Lorraine eventually gets married, engaged and married to Maynard, and then they have a wedding at the beach house. Makes perfect sense. Well, Cliff's dumb butt forgets that the wedding is at the house. So we think he leaves to go back home. He actually didn't leave. He just went to the beach house to crash and brought his 2 boyfriends with him. So they in the house cooking breakfast and Speedo. And it's just while
he's in the living room trying to hurry up and clean up the cocaine.
Snorts his coke. And it's just like, dude, but it's just the family dynamic of like, on a normal occasion, that wouldn't be funny, but as you watching it on screen, it's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, and Lorraine's like, she's very loving and accepting of him because she's like, I'm not your mother, but I did raise you.
Basically. And he even tries to get Lorraine fired at one point because, Monk doesn't have the money. He's snorting all his money away. Lisa didn't have any money to live. So Cliff is like, well, have you thought about firing Lorraine? And he's like, no, she's like family. I can't get rid of her because Monk is trying to find a place for his mom to go because she needs 24-hour care. And it was just kind of like, that shouldn't be funny, but that is funny. And this movie does a very good job of balancing funny and drama and serious and all that in one.
So back on the writing side, Monk is still conflicted about actually releasing his book.
Right. He tries to botch it several times.
And it doesn't work. It just, even the more outlandish he makes, the more the white people love it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
He's having a conversation with his publisher, Arthur, who's like, you just need to lean into this. This is success. Your mom has Alzheimer's. She needs around the clock care. You need money. These people are offering you a book deal that they have never offered to anybody else.
Book deal and a movie deal.
For this horrible, horrible abomination that you've written. And you just need to lean into it. Monk is like, I don't want to do this. So this is one of my notes. Arthur does a metaphor using Johnny Walker.
I have in my notes
favorite scenes.
I literally have like the Johnny Walker metaphor.
So, and mine literally says like the Johnny Walker metaphor.
We're related.
So, Arthur has a bar in his office, and he has 3 bottles of Johnny Walker. He has Johnny Walker regular, black, Johnny Walker red, and Johnny Walker blue.
Yes.
And Johnny Walker Black is the cheapest, smallest bottle. Red is the middle child bottle. And Johnny Walker Blue is the exclusive bottle.
Yes.
That's expensive. And he's like, the thing about Johnny Walker? When Monk is like, this book only panders to like the lowest common denominator of the community. He was like, Johnny Walker made Johnny Walker Black. Yeah. And it's the cheapest version of Johnny Walker liquor. Yep. And he also made Johnny Walker Blue, which is the most expensive version of Johnny Walker liquor. He said the reason he did that is because he knows that not everybody can afford or wants the prestigious taste of Johnny Walker Blue. Sometimes people just want to get drunk, so they buy the black. For people that want to feel elite, they buy the Johnny Walker Blue. But the thing is, Johnny Walker made it so that no matter what you want, no matter how you feel, you're buying from Johnny Walker. He was like, you need to be thinking more like Johnny Walker. You can keep writing your prestigious, high level novels about your science fiction crap. Right. And that can still make you feel great. And the people that want to read that can get that. But he
to
was
make
like,
the money.
you still need to also work on the bottom floor.
Yeah.
And get the money from those people and just make sure that everybody, no matter what they want, what their tastes are, they're going to you. And I loved that metaphor.
I was just like, this makes so, and it didn't just apply to the movie. It kind of like if you own life, or you own a business, or you like, I need to do this to, this is my passion, but this is, what I got to do day to day. It just made so much sense. I was like, this is the most I will never look at a bottle of Johnny Walker ever again the same.
Because it was just about, the moral was like, just do not confine yourself to one thing.
Right.
And think that this is the only thing you can do and this is the only way you can be successful. You need to branch out. Mm-hmm. Into different avenues, right? Different levels. Don't think too much of yourself that you feel like you can't go downstairs and kick it with everybody else because it's lonely at the top.
And he's a good writer, so it was never a point in the movie where Monk was like, "You're not a good writer. You need to go work on your stuff." Like even Coraline, she had his book. Mm-hmm. She was like, "I have to admit, I read your book." Like I think she recognized who he was. She even bought the trash book, not knowing it was his. And she was like, I liked it.
And that went back to the Johnny Walker metaphor, because you have people who buy the blue and buy the black.
Yep. Depending on what they want to do.
But both purchases went into Johnny Walker's pocket, which he did not seem to understand. It was like, you need to learn to come down on the bottom floor and contribute here as well.
Yes.
Yes. I love that metaphor.
It was again, I have a lot of...
one of the best monologues in TV and in film.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Which makes sense why this movie is nominated for Best Picture. Yeah. Because the overall package of the movie was good. Is there anything we would change?
No, this was perfect. I would say that it made me sad to see Tracee Ellis Ross die, but it was so necessary for her to be out of the way because he had to be in that situation to grow up.
I think he had a moment where he needed to grow up. Sterling K. Brown had a moment where he said that one of his regrets was that their dad died and didn't get to see the real him. Yeah. So he has a good monologue in here where he's trying to tell Monk, you need to live your life like as you, like however that is. I think he says you need to let people love you. Is what all he says you. Because he ends up being a jerk to Coraline because she likes the book, the trash book, but she doesn't know it's him. And it's like he's not telling anybody that it's him, so he's getting real aggressive about people liking the book, and he basically trips. Yeah, with her.
Because he made the trash book and she likes it. He basically calls her taste in things trash, right? And she's kind of like,
and she kicks him out.
Because, and he totally misses the part where she also loved the good stuff. Right. She just did not box herself into being one type of person and liking one type of thing. But because, and it's brought back several times how dad was mean. Yep. Dad was a cheater. Mm-hmm. Dad had a black wife and had a black family, but dad loved white women. Yep. And just like Monk did.
We found out that Monk, once again, we don't see it, but the way it's written, there's one scene in the movie where Coraline comes over to dinner and Monk's mom is like, I'm so glad you're black. And she was like, me too. Mm-hmm. So it's implied that, and I think
Sterling K. Brown makes a comment
about his white girlfriend.
At least this time she's not white.
Right, right. So he's basically his dad, or becoming his dad, and he needs a course correction, clearly, from this movie.
Yeah, so I like the fact that he did not see that he was becoming like his father until the very end. Yeah. And Sterling K. Brown makes a comment and says, you were dad's favorite. Yeah. Dad was mean to the rest of us. Mm-hmm. And he was like, the reason you don't see that you're becoming like dad is because it's much, you see people a lot clearer. You see enemies a lot clearer than you do your friends. Yeah. And Sterling K. Brown was like, none of us got along with dad because he was the worst. Mm-hmm. We saw him a lot clearer because we were not trying to be his best friend. You were.
Monk was the only one who did not realize his dad was even having an affair
with white women.
Everybody else knew, even the mom. Yeah. Even the mom knew. He was like, what? And
And I love the mom's speech, which was devastating at the
Yeah.
end, where he talks to his mom, who's now she's like fully in the throes of Alzheimer's.
Right.
She's in a full-time facility.
Mm-hmm.
And he's having a conversation with her where she's kind of lucid and kind of not. And he says, "Did you know Dad was having an affair?"
Yeah.
And she says, "Yeah, he was lonely."
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "Yeah, I knew he was having an affair." He was like, "Well, why did you stay?" She said, "Because he would have been even more lonely if I left." She said, "The thing about geniuses they're lonely because they can't relate to the rest of us normal people."
Yep.
And she was like, that's why you are the way you are. That's why you're also a genius. And she calls him Cliff, which is Sterling K. Brown's name.
Right.
Because even though she's there in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
she's slipping away, where her final scene, she doesn't even recognize her son.
Yep. It was like, once again, the movie shifts from like comedy to drama to the family dynamic to the book, and it's just weaved in so well through the whole movie.
So I guess we can talk about the ending.
Okay.
So the movie has a very interesting ending.
There might have been one thing I would have changed, because at first I was confused. I'll let you explain it. But at first I was like, what is going on here? But you go.
Him and Centaur are the only black people on the judging panel for the best-selling book.
Mm-hmm.
They get outruled.
Yes.
And the white people on the panel really loved the bad book.
Yes.
So
Monk's bad book.
But
they don't know it's Monk's bad book.
So they vote for it to be the winner.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to the ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy goes up there and announces the book as the winner. And we get an ending where Monk goes up there and takes the award. They're clapping and they're saying, "Oh, well, Stagger Lee is a criminal.
Right.
So we don't expect him to show up."
Right.
But Monk surprises them and goes up on stage and takes the award. And he goes on the mic and he says, "I." And then it cuts to Monk and Adam Brody in a movie studio where Adam Brody is shooting a film. And he's talking to Monk about the ending
of the movie essentially.
Yeah. So we're cut to where Monk has clearly revealed himself as the author of the book, and now he's pitching to Adam Brody the film about him writing this book and getting an award for it. And
so the movie is now turned into a script for a movie, essentially.
Yeah, so we kind of like panned out of the movie into a movie within a movie, where he's telling Adam Brody about how the movie's going to end.
Right.
And we get multiple endings where he reveals himself to be the writer, and Adam Brody's like,
"That's too
I don't
boring.
like it. It's too boring."
Yeah.
So then we get another ending where he goes up there and
the FBI comes in.
And Coraline comes in, right? Because he asked her to be his date, and she didn't respond, but she surprises him and shows up. He's revealing himself to be the writer, and the FBI shows in because they think that Stagger Lee is a real person who's a murderer, and they're coming to arrest him.
Right, because he's a fugitive, supposedly.
So they think that the glass clear award that he's holding in his hand is a gun, because one of them shouts gun, and they shoot him to death on stage in front of all of these people at this awards gala.
Light that man up.
And Adam Brody's like, "That's perfect.
That's it.
That's the perfect ending."
Right.
So after that, he's like, clean it up, transcribe it, pin it.
We got a book. We got a movie.
We got a movie. So he goes outside and he gets picked up by his brother, Sterling K. Brown. And they are in the Hollywood backlot of some type of film studio. And he gets in the car, he looks over and sees one of the cast members of the Plantation film that Adam Brody. Did we even talk about that?
Briefly. We talk about Ryan Reynolds starring in it.
Yeah, so Adam Brody's making the Plantation movie. And Plantation Annihilation.
Yes.
About a couple who's getting married on a plantation,
and the ghost,
but they're slaughtered by the ghost of the slaves who used to work on the plantation. And they get in the car and they see one of the cast members just chilling on his break. Monk waves at him, he nods back, and then they drive off. And that's how the movie ends, where I guess we're led to believe that we don't know how it actually ended. After he revealed himself.
We don't know how, we don't know how the award ceremony goes, but it's implied that Monk reveals that he is the one who wrote the bad book, but then he sells that story, his real life story, essentially to Wiley, because Wiley already bought the rights to the bad book film rights. So he was going to turn the bad book into a film. And Monk is like, no. I got something better. And he sells the movie essentially, but he changes the ending to where the character dies because he gets shot up by the FBI.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So.
And then Sterling K. Brown and Monk ride off into the sunset, essentially. And that's how the movie ends.
Yeah. And that's how the movie ends. And I like the ending. It's kind of left open-ended whether or not he gets back with Coraline or not.
Right.
Because he says because Wiley asks him, so what happened to Coraline? He's like, I don't know. The real Coraline still has not returned my calls.
Right.
But, I mean, it's kind of implied that
maybe
she showed up at the award ceremony, so
yeah,
maybe they did get back together.
Right.
But I like the ending.
I like the ending. You kind of have to see it to understand how, like, it's a real ending. The only thing that's kind of left in question is how the award ceremony went, but you kind of have to see it to know. It's a happy quote unquote ending because Monk gets his film rights.
He gets some money.
He gets the money, and he's obviously gonna make more money because he sold the film rights to Wiley.
Yeah.
And the bad book doesn't get made into a film, which is a good thing.
Also.
Which is also a good thing.
Are there any other notes or anything else?
Did I have any other notes? No, I actually got them all.
Yeah, I didn't have too many notes. The movie was only like an hour and 50 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It was very short, and it kind of felt short.
It moved nicely.
It kind of felt like it definitely felt like a film festival film.
Yes, it was well paced.
It was very well paced.
I would say that.
Not a moment was wasted.
Nope.
Nothing was stretched too long.
Nope.
There's nothing I would have cut.
No.
Or changed.
No.
Yeah, it kind of went perfectly.
Agree.
Yeah. Let's see. Who would we recommend this movie to?
Everybody.
Literally everybody.
That was an easy one.
And it's I listened to another person discuss the movie, and they made a good point where the movie makes jokes about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It makes jokes about black people. It makes jokes about white people. Those are pretty much the only two races that are discussed in the film. Mm-hmm. But nobody is the butt of the joke. Everybody is included in the joke. Yeah. So it's not making fun of you. You're supposed to. You're
supposed to laugh at the irony, I guess.
They made a good point where they said, you're not supposed to be offended. You're supposed to say, haha, we're making fun of those type of black people, or haha, we're making fun of those type of white people. Because there's a joke for everybody in here. Okay. There's a joke for the people who like We Lives in the Ghetto.
Oh, yeah.
You can laugh at the prestigious people in this movie because they're prestigious and pretentious.
Right, and jerks.
You can laugh at the We Lives in the Ghetto people in this movie.
Right.
You can laugh at the white people who are clearly doing their nervous chuckle whenever Jeffrey Wright's character says something that's clearly supposed to be offensive to white people or black people. But everybody's supposed to be in on the joke.
Yeah.
And I thought that was done really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite line or favorite scene? This is a hard one.
This is a really hard one.
My favorite scene is going to be Lisa's funeral. Mainly because her last will and testament was hilarious.
Yeah.
So Monk reads off her last will and testament. It's funny. And then the part where they spread her ashes and the white guy comes up and disturbs their peace is hilarious because of how Monk and Cliff go in on him.
Yeah.
That would have to be I could pick a lot, but that's probably my favorite.
My favorite scene would probably be the Johnny Walker scene.
Oh, yes.
It was just so good.
That's my favorite lines.
Yeah.
Just put that one.
Best monologue goes to the
that's
Johnny
my
Walker
favorite
scene.
lines part of the movie. The very end where Sterling K. Brown has a speech with Monk about, wishing his dad would have been able to see him before he died. Mm-hmm. And then how he says it feels kind of, Cliff says something along the lines of, it feels kind of crazy. Monk says, what if dad would have rejected you? He said, actually, that feels, at least he would have known the truth.
He rejected all of me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was really good.
And it was really good because he was telling him to let people love all of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it still spoke to him hiding the fact that he wrote the book.
Yep.
Even though Sterling K. Brown's character did not know that he wrote that book.
Nope. Nobody knew until the very end.
But all the speeches and the life lessons that came from the people that did not know that he wrote the book applied directly to him because he was secretly the author of that book.
Right.
I loved it.
So that was my favorite scene. And those are my favorite lines.
Oh, I guess I liked all the scenes of the white people on the judges panel arguing with each other.
Yes, that was also good.
Because they were clearly some of them were clearly conservative, and some of them were
like those ultra liberals. I don't even know what you want to call them.
So you had the black people teaming up. It was very interesting because you had the black people, Issa Rae and Jeffrey Wright, teaming up to agree that the book should not be considered. But then you have the white people who are the ones who are conflicted and arguing with each other about whether the book is good or not. It was very funny.
And then, and another favorite scene at the end where they decide to take a vote. And so Monk and Issa Rae are like, nope, we don't want this book in. And then it's only 5 judges. Mm-hmm. And then the other 3 judges are white. They say yes. And it's funny that the main point of bringing the 2 black judges into the fold was because they felt like black people, they were basically token judges because they were like, oh, we need to get our diversity number up in judges. So here's 2. And the whole point of that was because there wasn't a diverse voice being heard in the voting.
No.
And sure enough, at the end of the movie, the diverse people
were ignored.
Like their votes were ignored.
Because the diverse people were speaking against the black book, they ignored the diverse people. And even in the award ceremony, the guy gets on the mic and is like, we're so proud to have this diverse room of people here.
Right. It was just like, how ironic that y'all bring in black people to diversify the voting and y'all vote against what the black people voted for.
And the subject matter is black. And you still ignore the black people.
And you still didn't get it right.
Yeah.
It just relates so much.
Final words about the movie and our rating. 10 out of 10. It was great.
It would have been probably one of my favorite movies of 2023 had I seen it in 2023.
Probably one of our favorite movies of 2024 now.
Yeah, and so it's only January.
That in our end of the year ranking.
Exactly. It's only January and it's already right at the top.
It's so good.
It's really good.
This is we were talking about this. This is a physical release purchase.
Heck yeah.
This is absolutely going on the shelf.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't think they're putting this on Steelbook.
This is absolutely going on the shelf.
But I would definitely get it in Blu-ray.
I loved it and I kind of can't wait to watch it again.
Absolutely. You can. February 6th at least coming up. So thanks for listening. Definitely go check this out. Like I said, if it's not playing in your local theater, it will be coming out on digital platforms in a couple weeks. Is that all for our review?
I think that is all. What are we doing next week?
We're going to go see a movie that I don't think you were excited to see.
I'm not excited.
But I am. We're going to see Argyle, the goofy movie where Henry Cavill looks like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead.
He looks
like Butthead. I don't know which one is which.
It looks like Kingsman. I'll say that.
It does.
But Kingsman was at least very entertaining.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm
so
hoping,
it looks fun.
I'm hoping for a good time.
Dula Peep. Bryce Dallas Howard.
Although I think she's probably only in it for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I just get that vibe.
Bryce, in which, hey, we're on theme. This is a movie about a book and an author writing a book.
Oh, you're right. So, and this one's just got a little espionage twist to it.
It's got some faves: Dula Peep, Henry Cavill, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell, Ariana DeBose, and I guess John Cena.
Sir, you are missing a very important person.
Oh, and Samuel L.
Goodness.
Jackson. And Bryan Cranston. So it's got a big ensemble cast. So it
budget.
should be great.
That's what it sounds like.
It's 2.5 hours, so it better be good because it's long.
It is a long one.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You kind of took my excitement down half a notch there. All right. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you like our show, please share it. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on our website, vaguelynerdy.com, where you can also leave us a voicemail that we can play for the show. Nice messages only, please. Yes. You can follow us on Twitter at Vaguely Nerdy Pod or on IG at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast. And if you're the emailing type, you can reach us at vaguelynerdypodcast@gmail.com.
All right, until next time.
Bye.